different. And I love it, man, because it got me thinking. It got me thinking like I was back in school again. I don't even know where you come up with these questions. I want to know how you come up with these kids. You're so innovative. I'm like, look, I mean, your mind is good. Like you said, you're a history teacher, and your mind is going all over the place.
And it's also wonderful to hear people talk sanely to each other today.
Yeah, I've done everything. I've done, in the 80s, I did Johnny Carson. I did
Sure.
Merv Griffin. I did it all. You're sheer 9 or 10. You're probably 9.5.
Oh.
10 is, no one's perfect.
You have something amazing going with the show, and you're educating us.
I mean, I've never told anybody in public about that experience with my dad. And on your platform, I don't know why I did that, because it's so comfortable and we're talking about things that matter.
That is a really cool story. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot today.
A lot. And you know what's...
I love the little anecdote of comedy with your would you pay for it? Would you not? I love that. I love how you added that in.
We want to know each other. We want to know people's stories. That's what TKN does.
It's not like an interview. It's like a conversation with your homie.
I appreciate that more than you know, my friend. I really do. Tretch, my friend, I hope you have a great rest of the evening. Last name Ferrigno, first name Lou. Lou, welcome, my friend.
Thank you. That's the best introduction I've ever heard in my life. You know something? You need to quit the show and be my moderator.
So put your hand together for a majestic, out of this world, one-of-a-kind human being. First name Vivica, last name Fox. Welcome, my friend.
Whoa, that was an awesome introduction. Let me tell you that. I don't think I've ever had anyone read my resume with such flow.
Avi is a poet, but he doesn't know it, but his feet show it. You're unbelievable.
Damn. You said it just like I wrote it.
You gave me good eargasm tonight, man. I love your voice. I love the things that you talk about.
Yo, this show is crazy. This show takes you crazy places.
I appreciate that.
This is why your audiences love you. This is why you continue to great guests, and great guests beget great guests.
Absolutely. I just want to do this again and again. I feel like I've made friends. And again, I've taken the competition part of it out because I've just enjoyed talking to you guys tonight.
It really, truly kind of blows my mind every time when we can get this many people together, thinking, mind melding, positive, not having to agree all the time with everything, but not getting ugly about it. And not, it's just, I feel like it's a microcosm of what it could be.
Did you have a nice time tonight in the green room?
I had a great time. I can't tell you how refreshing it is that somebody knows what they're doing.
You're a very interesting person. I mean, you with all this rhyming stuff, you must really put a lot of effort into this. And I would love to read or see something that you've written.
Thank you.
Because I'm sure it's really interesting.
Or not podcast. I guess it's like we're just a show now. You're a show. You're a full-blown show.
I can count my friends on one hand. Well, wait, on one finger. You.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, my friend. You are awesome. Chris, did you have a good time? You've done a lot of interviews. Is this kind of up there for you?
Yeah. I had a great time today, Avi. I mean, because you are engaged in what is a conversation and not a performance.
I would definitely say that wrestling, amateur wrestling, American wrestling, there's no other, they call it martial arts now, what have you, but if you were to get into a fight, that doesn't make you a tough guy or anything, but it's a different skill set when you're going to stand around and dance around on your feet.
For Secretary of State, I will go with JFK. And the reason I go with Kennedy is that Kennedy understood the international scene. He understood how dangerous nuclear war was, the threat of it.
I would ask my future self, if mankind was able to cooperate with one another in order to avert the worst effects of global warming by the year 2050.
Guys and gals and pals, it's Saturday night. I want to start with a thank you, a simple thank you, guys. I love being able to see you in the comment section, showing your love. We got 1,000+ watching us live. Thank you. You're more than mere metrics. The last 25 episodes here on Saturday night, if you check out our YouTube channel, over 100,000 views. That's quite the streak. And you guys and gals and pals are responsible for where we are right now. We're mere months away from 6 episodes being produced by Amazon Prime. As far as the celebrity tournament is concerned, our 3 participants tonight, they're already in round number 3. So this is the team challenge. They're representing their teams tonight. The 3rd round begins in a very short period of time. These are 3rd rounders. Pete Babcock, dear friend, former GM and also co-host, historian, author. We'll talk about his book as well. Dr. Matt Fink, another great friend. 3-time Grammy Award winner, Prince's Revolution, and so much more. One of the most intelligent people I know. And David Tank Abbott, guys, history, UFC, author, down-to-earth human being. They're here. They're 3rd rounders. They're representing their team. We know that Tank Abbott is teamed up with Justin. We know that Dr. Fink is teamed up with Joe, and Pete Babcock teamed up with Giselle. So tonight, Pete's going to go up against Matt Fink and Tank Abbott. 2 topics in total, 1 fun game in between, and hopefully some snazzy, jazzy intros. Thank you to Progresso Soup, our corporate sponsor. We believe in you as much as you believe in us. And this is not shtick right now. I want everyone to, if they can, not now. Of course, now you need to stay safe because most of this country is going to be enveloped in snow. We know that. But there are a lot of people that don't have anything to eat. There are a lot of people that don't have anywhere to stay. So beyond the pomp and circumstance, please, if you could find it in your heart, to just ask anyone you know, go to a shelter, knock on a neighbor's door, see if they have enough water, see if they have what they need to be able to survive these conditions. It's the human thing to do. And that's what we do here on the new network, guys. A place where we have philosophical fun and provide you with endless edutainment. And thank you guys and gals and pals for believing in us as well. This is a place where strangers believe as friends while having competitive camaraderie. That's what we have. Intellectual conversations that go several layers deep. So with that, let's bring in our participants right now. Opportunity dances with those already on the dance floor. Our first participant, guys, epitomizes the latter. He was born to parents Irvin and Harriet in 1958 as an artistic revolution would begin way before he was a teenager. Makes perfect sense as his parents went to the University of Minnesota and picked quite the major, the theater, of course, and later his father was writing along with commercial voiceovers and directing plays. Soon this man would trail, ablaze, and amaze the masses through those cool rays as a plethora of fans would embrace and begin a craze and shower this artist with much-deserved praise. But let me digress before I go sideways. As a 6.5-year-old, he took piano lessons and stuck with it a bit beyond senior year of high school. At age 14, he requested to work with 2 music teachers that definitely helped him pick up more than one tool. It was with their help that he learned improvisational techniques necessary to play jazz. Guys and gals and pals, liberation was evident as our passion should never be locked away in some sort of Alcatraz. He had his first gig comprised of kids in his neighborhood at some girl's bat mitzvah at the age of 12 and a half. Pretty soon, a bevy of fans would ask him for his autograph. From London to Flagstaff, there was a legend on the rise that needed a keyboard player. In the basement of Pepe Willie, something was answered, perhaps a prayer, and conveyor, a man with an abundance of layers. Bobby Z wanted him to listen to this man's demo tape. Soon, their collaborative experience would reshape and cultivate an entire genre and an era that needed an escape, as they began through their works of art to change the entire landscape. He requested an audition in October of 78, and after a 3-week wait, he got his shot thanks to his talent, innovation. There were no locked doors. He subsequently recorded with a legend, co-wrote some pivotal songs, and performed with him on world tours. He was influenced by the British bands of the 60s, like the Stones, the Beatles, and the Who. What about R&B and funk artists? Should I provide you with a clue? Let's name some of the greats. Sure. James Brown, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, 70s bands like Earth, Wind & Fire, Steely Dan, Elton John, yes, and David Bowie. I can't count how many times I've rested these bones listening to those icons on my headphones. How about his great conversation at Wembley Stadium with Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones? Does it get any better than jamming with an absolute music giant, a true captain? Well, he did just that after an after party in London with the one and only Eric Clapton. His early synthesizer setup was Oberheim OBXA, ARP Omni, Yamaha CP70 electric grand piano, and an ARP Pro soloist. He truly was able to entertain and provide a smile to those who were at their lowest. This man has won 3 Grammy Awards, 3 American Music Awards, and numerous RIAA Gold and Platinum Awards for his work with the Revolution and a certain individual I alluded to earlier. That man's name was Prince. He changed the music world. This is something that is evident. No need to convince. His work with Prince included his work with the Revolution, then BG, Madhouse, and the 1984 film and album Purple Rain, which has sold over 25 million copies worldwide. They had range and more diversity than Jekyll and Hyde, as they made bigger headlines than Bonnie and Clyde. From the cover of TV Guide to even connected to those living mountainside, our hearts and souls they occupied, as they brought us all together and unified. So with that, I don't need a shrink to tell me what to think when it comes to my state of elation. Nothing can calm me down, not even a drink. So put your hands together for a kind, legendary artist and doctor, guys and gals, a humble human being. First name Matt, last name Fink. Welcome, Dr. Fink.
Oh, you crack me up every time with that. That when you do those intros, you went even beyond the last one. I mean, can I get a copy of that transcript for my friends? I mean, that's like it's like I don't know what to say. I'm so flattered. I know all the people that you bring on the show go through this same reaction with how good you are at that, with the rhyming, and you do it so quickly. I mean, it's so you're like the fastest rapper on the planet next to that next to Twista, and your avatar. Oh my God, I love your avatar today. You remind me of Jeff Lynne from Electric Light Orchestra, also producer of many the great the Wilburys and other bands. I mean, that's great. I'm glad you picked that kind of iconic
Mr. Fink.
Jeff Lynne look.
Take the Jeff Lynne compliment, absolutely. And as far as accelerating, I always say this: it's easy to run down someone's resume and life story when you're a Dr. Fink, a Pete Babcock, or David Tank Abbott. There's so much more we could do. My friend, I love our friendship. I love what we do behind the scenes. A lot of cool stuff that we're talking about as well. Team Challenge is fun. It's sort of the Wild West of TKN. Of course, you're representing your team with Joe tonight. Couple of topics. We're going to have a blast. Are you looking forward to TKN Saturday Night live here tonight, Mr. Fink?
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Always.
I love it, my friend. I'm going to put you backstage, bring in Mr. Pete Babcock and David Tank Abbott, and bring you right back.
Okay.
Mr. Fink, guys and gals, is with us on a Saturday night. Appreciate his honesty and his humility. Let's say hi to all of you guys here. Chad, always nice to have the doctor making a house call, says Chad Dixon in the comment section. We love you guys. Hi, we could, but we'll see it live. Guys, we have a lot of comments from you. I'll read a few of them before I bring in two of our luminaries tonight, David Tank Abbott and Mr. Pete Babcock. Everybody's welcoming in Matt. Thank you guys for doing that. Absolutely, Christopher. Glad to have Matt back. Huge part of the network, guys. You know, we don't talk about merely numbers, but in round 2 of the tournament alone, 158 Hall of Famers for the world of sports, music, and wrestling, not to mention Olympians, Oscar, Grammy, Tony, Emmy, Golden Globe, AMA, and WGA Award winners and nominees. Guys and gals, all competing for the pride of the prize, but it's not really the size. All you have to do is look behind those eyes. You'll see the passion, guys and gals. This is a place where one person will win this entire celebrity tournament. I call it a sport of the mind, and I don't mind reminding you that this is a place, once again, where we have philosophical fun. So with that, let's bring in our next participant here on a Saturday night. A warrior is not a person that carries a gun. The biggest war you're ever going to go through is right between your own ears. It's in your mind. Our next participant knows that the comeback is greater than any setback. This is in large part to the fact that even death could never stay his hand. He gazed upon the cold vastness of space. He mused upon his life. And he found that both are anything but empty because he's alive. He's here. He's accomplished. His purpose is quite relevant. The man is multifaceted. He isn't just a fighter, but a historian. He can teach. It all began in the state of California, specifically Huntington Beach. His father, guys and gals, was a lifelong football coach, and he played the sport as well when he attended Marina High School. But there was another sport in which you'd have no peer and truly shine like a king. He was drawn to the mat since he was 9 years old, watching his brother excel. The sport I'm speaking of, wrestling. He continued wrestling in college, where he was one of the best and an NJCAA All-America in that sport. As many would find out, his determination and pride were absolute. He was a man that you could not thwart, because if you did, your body he would contort, as you might wind up in pieces while they would transport you from the MMA ring to the airport. He attended California State University, Long Beach, where he graduated with a degree in history, something that speaks to me, as teaching that subject is as rewarding as honey to a bunch of zealous bees. In the bars, he would always deck those that didn't bring it correct, as they chose to bully other people, which is something he could never ignore or neglect. He stood up for everybody. One day he was reading a magazine in a store, and his attention was piqued when there was a little new attraction called the UFC. He applied to UFC 6, and as an undefeated street fighter who could bench 600 pounds and knock out 4 men in his last brawl, it's safe to say that he more than qualified There's plenty of video footage to indicate how his opponents were looking for some place to hide. But in the ring, with him, there was no escape. Heck, they applied, and they'd all go down a story as classic as Bonnie and Clyde. July 6, 1995. The world would become privy to a man that was there for the crown. He ran over the 400-pound Hawaiian fighter in 18 seconds as the poor guy went down. Next up was round 2 that night, where he further solidified his reputation by defeating Paul V with a ground and pound attack along with knee strikes, as yet another opponent sat there in bewilderment, wondering who turned out the damn lights. What an honest time for the UFC this was, guys and gals. There were no judges, no time limits, and the tougher guy got the win and walked out. He made it to the finals, and after facing him, the eventual champ couldn't even stand. The audience gave him a hand, as they loved him for his authenticity and heart. His talent was quite grand. UFC 7 was next. We had an easy win over Steve Genumin, the first round, with a neck crank. Next up was the legendary Dan Severn, but even Dan had trouble taking down this tank. If you guys want a brief summary, here we go. He's a 2-time UFC tournament runner-up, a 3-time UFC semifinalist, a UFC heavyweight championship contender. He holds the record for most UFC tournaments competed and won the Viewer's Choice Award way before there was a thing called social media trends. In 97, he even co-starred on an episode of Friends. Both the WWE and WCW took notice of this massive talent, but in the end, Bischoff and WCW signed him, and pro wrestling fans had their first glance, as he was one of the top guys taking it to Goldberg, the Steiners, Sid, and hell, we found out he could dance. He was featured in one of the video games for WCW, and even after that run, he continued to knock people out. Many would talk the talk, but guys and gals, no one could ever walk the walk around him, as in his presence, many would probably sit and pout. History, MMA, and the man is a gifted published author and writer. Bar brawler, street warrior, and cage fighter were written by this intelligent mind. His resiliency and courage needs to be addressed, as he died 5 times on an operating table and had 6 strokes. For many, it would have been the end. Not for him, thankfully, as I consider him a dear friend. 107 days in the ICU. And amid this turmoil, it is what he did that would raise many an eyelid, because he fought and survived the hardest fight of his life. So stand up and welcome a man known as a tank from Jersey to Madrid, a legendary, kind, humble human being. Last name Abbott, first name David. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, hello. Wow, can't believe all that stuff. Forgot about half of it.
Oh man, it's more
Great
than half of it.
job.
Thank you. No, great job for you being the human being that you are, my friend.
I'll leave it to you to dig that stuff up and bring it to the forefront. But yeah, it was a fun time doing it.
Yeah, and what a career, man. And it's funny because you're so down to earth that when we were talking, the first time we ever had a conversation a couple years back, you'd mentioned that you wrote 3 books. You did it the old-fashioned way, the way I do it as well. You were in a bar, you were writing these 3 stories. They turned out to be 3 books that I've read a couple of times. My friend, you have so many awesome gifts here in this second half of your life, writing, authoring books. Is that still something you want to do?
Yeah, but I decided to step out, and much like the book, I didn't get a ghostwriter, so I wrote a book. Some people think it's an autobiography, but I made it a novel for various reasons. But I decided to step out and write a screenplay.
Yeah.
And I'm just about done with it. It's turned out to be fun, as all could be, and definitely with the structure and everything else and putting it together. I'm glad I took the the ignorance of me. I thought, I wrote 3 books, so you can make a movie out of it. Well, once I delved into doing that, writing a screenplay, I realized how ignorant I was, and I'm forcing my way through it, and I don't think anybody else could have wrote a screenplay from the books or anything else better than the thing I've written so far. So
it's
but
very
everybody loves their baby, so
Yeah.
I'm obviously biased.
Yeah, and I was going to tell you, I learned a long time ago. My mentor was Richard Donner, and My Baby was the first film that I wanted to do everything with, direct, produce, until I realized no studio is going to let you do that if it's your first project. So I kind of tucked My Baby into a corner somewhere and said, let me write as much as I can until I get to it one day. Still haven't, but I love the fact that you're attached to work that speaks to you, my friend. I want to talk about the writing process with you. We have in the past as well. David, I got to say this, man. I'm glad you're a part of this network. Here we are, TKN Saturday Night. You ready to have some fun, my friend?
Oh, absolutely. after everything I've gone through, I really don't do anything that's not fun. And this is totally fun, and it's great to participate in and, go up against these mental giants that you have in the background there.
And you yourself included, my friend. I've learned a lot from you over these last couple of years, and that's from the heart. I'm going to put you backstage for a mere moment and bring you right back.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Abbott. And guys, recently, this summer, if I'm not mistaken, congratulate Mr. Tank Abbott, Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer as well. Much deserved, well deserved. Nice to see you, Jimmy. Nice to see you. First viewer. Haven't seen you here before. Jacques Rougeau is watching us. Thank you, Jacques, for being there in the comment section. Thank you for joining us as well. I saw Mr. Ferrigno hiding there as well. So, Mr. Lou, a lot of you guys, a lot of the third round participants who are in this tournament like to watch the show. And of course, comment as well. Let's bring in Mr. Pete Babcock, guys and gals and pals, right now, and we will be off to the races. What time is it? It's time to dream lofty dreams. Frederick Douglass said, "The soul that is within me, no man can degrade." Our next guest is not only a third rounder in this, the most star-studded tournament of them all, but he's a dear friend and a man that places heavy emphasis on all things humane. There's so much to be said about this individual, as his kind expressions can reduce any man's stress. As a former NBA owner GM, this man guided many franchises to victories and success. The man was the general manager for the Clippers, the Nuggets, and the Hawks of Atlanta. He left each franchise better, as his presence was like a gift from dear old Santa. He became the GM of the Atlanta Hawks for 13 years, starting in 1990. From Dominique to Spud Webb to Leighton, and of course, the late finger-waving Dikembe. The paper that he helped write for the White House should be consumed by the masses. If it were up to me, building character through sports would be taught in all the classes. He served on the committee to select the team and coaching staff for Dream Team 3. Yeah, they won the gold. His passion and knowledge of history and civil rights speaks to me as I marvel at his mind. Maybe he'll convince me to give the New York Knicks another shot. I wouldn't mind watching this team, but I have to be blind. His loyalty, wisdom, and friendship have provided many with beautiful moments of bliss. His book, I recommend, A Life in Basketball and Activism, Courts of Justice. Guys and gals and pals, he finds the best in people and is truly allergic to defeat. Anytime he's on here, it's an absolute treat. As my co-host on Intertwining Thoughts, his viewpoints are well worth a front row seat. He's multifaceted, diverse, and impactful, like a 1976 Rocky punching some meat. His heart is a champion, like an Olympic medal winning athlete. Is he a favorite to win the entire tournament? Yup, he's never lost a round. He never takes a back seat. Put that in a tweet. And welcome a good friend and human being. Last name Babcock, first name Pete. Welcome, my friend.
Avi, how are you tonight? You know, Avi.
Yes, sir.
It might be kind of dangerous, but I'd love to get inside your mind.
No, you don't.
It's like, wow, where's this stuff come from? To see how everything connects, it might be a dangerous ride.
It's. Well, I'll tell you. When it comes to my mind, I think about your journey. And I think about your journey in many different ways. I think about the historian, I think about the educator and the author, but I also think about the man who leaves behind a legacy, if I could be serious for a minute, that to me is remarkable, because there isn't one person I've met, and we're in the same circles, and you've introduced me to a lot of great people as well. No one has one bad word to say about you, and I want you to take that compliment if you can. Every single person lights up when they hear the name Pete Babcock, man. That's from the heart.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
100%. Definitely leaving people better than where they were. Now, I want to talk about the books a bit later in the broadcast. This is an incredible book that we want to bring up, Courts of Justice. This has been something that you have been talking about for a long time, but it's a project you've been working on for a very long time. How do you feel about it now, sharing it with the world, Pete?
Well, it's certainly kind of a privilege to be able to do it. And, our mutual friend, Ken Dooley, who was Red Auerbach's biographer.
Sure.
Ken's now 94 years old, and he was the driving force behind me actually getting it done, because the genesis of it was to write it for my kids and my grandkids, and he said, no, you got to do more with it than that. And so just being able, we published it this year to coincide with the 75th anniversary of the integration of the NBA, which was this fall. And that we released it then, and there are a number of teams that have purchased it for their players and coaches, and I feel good about that, just because any way we can help educate today's players and coaches about the pioneers who laid the groundwork for all of us, the better it is. So it's just another step of trying to help teach people about the life that came before them.
It's a great effort that you put forth, and it speaks to me. I do have my own copy. I want everyone else to be able to read it as well. I'm going to bring up, again, Tank's books, Mr. Pete Babcock's books, Dr. Fink, who actually has a cool story he was telling us beforehand, Pete, as you heard. Minnesota Timberwolves. There's quite a cool connection there that I want Matt to bring up. But I do want to bring everyone in right now. I want to bring in David Tank Abbott. I want to bring in Dr. Fink in the back, Mr. Fink. And I also want to bring in our judges. And guys, as you know, voting is a positive thing here. You guys will be voting in the comment section. Who resonates most with you? Who resonate most with you? That's a good thing. Let us know. Of course, this is Team Challenge. This is not elimination. These three men are in the third round, so this is not a third round match. They're in the third round. That'll kick off in a very short period of time. Dr. Fink is here. Pete Babcock is here. David Tank Abbott. Kelly White, you'll be one of our backstage judges. Kelly, welcome.
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Hey, Kelly, how are you?
I'm doing good. Are you guys ready? The pressure's on you.
Sure, why not? Hey, Kelly.
I'm just a little upset with Avi because he takes like a simple basketball guy and he pairs me with two intellectuals. I mean, it's like, what how does that work? Come on, Avi. I mean, that's a battle, is it?
Hey,
there are four intellectual minds right now, and I mean four. Why?
Hey,
it's gonna be a blast.
I believe you're an intellectual, Pete. I really do.
Well, thank you. There's one person in the world.
One of the most one of the most intelligent people I know is Pete Babcock, and Kelly White's here. Let's bring in Pete. Pete's going to be judging as well, guys and gals and pals. So we have Mr. Kelly White, and of course Pete. Pete.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
We have two Pete's on screen.
Good.
Fellow Pete.
Hi,
so
Pete.
You guys, Pete, looks kind of cold where you are. Where are you?
It is cold in here.
Looks like you're dressed for a black ops mission. You just need your hood.
It looks like you're in the cellar on Stranger Things or something.
I got to tell you guys, Pete's always ready to bring in one of the smartest people I know. I'm going to put Kelly and Pete backstage, and then I'll read the topics right now, guys. Here we are. We're already ready to go. Jacques, thank you, my friend. Guys, keep inviting your friends. This is absolutely free. I do call it free preview. It's what it is. It's long form. It's meant to be long form. That's how you get to know people, not through some fast TikTok conversation takes place 30 seconds. But that's why it's a free preview, because the old Mike Tyson pay-per-views, when you ordered them, it took a while to see Iron Mike Tyson enter the ring. There was a press conference, and then maybe you saw the undercard. Then you got the main event. That's kind of what we do over here. Some really cool video packages. This is a show, definitely not a podcast. I'm not an interviewer. I'm a conversationalist, and so are these three men. So with that, let's kick off topic number one, and I'll ask the viewers to decide the order. Who goes first, who goes second, who goes third. So guys, first person to decide the order in the comment section will determine the order. So let us know in the comment section now who goes first, who goes second, who goes third. One message should have the entire order, okay? First person that does that, and I'll get back to that, and we'll find out in a minute. So topic number one. Topic number one, guys and gals in the comment section that are watching right now, is an interesting topic, and the reason why I call it my homie history is because history can help us like a friend, like a homie. So the study of history, I think, can be used as a weapon in the culture wars. On both sides, activists on both the left and the right usually cherry pick from the past to advance political agendas. But there was a late historian named Bernard Bailyn, and he called this the indoctrination by historical example. A lot of historians lack what Fields called the analytics of imaginative wherewithal to understand the past as a daily lived experience. But what if you could go back in time, Pete and David and Matt? What if you could go back in time and select a deceased historical figure to assist you in some way, shape, or form during the height of your career? Who would you select and why? If you could go back in time, and I'll give you guys a chance to go backstage and, of course, organize your thoughts. If you could go back in time and select a deceased historical figure, any time period, to assist you in some way, shape, or form during the height of your career, who would you select and why? And before I put everyone backstage, here's the order. The first person, let's see, that included the order here is Chad. Thank you, Chad. Chad has Pete Babcock going first, Matt going second, David Tank Abbott going third. Same topic for all three gentlemen. They can take as much time as they want. Again, I'll read this out loud for our viewers. You guys can play along as well. Why not? If you could go back in time, that's the fun part of this, and select a deceased historical figure to assist you during the height of your career, Pete and David and Matt, which historical figure that's deceased would you select and why? To help you during the height of your career. I'm going to put Mr. David Tank Abbott and Mr. Fink and Mr. Babcock backstage. I'll bring in Kelly. I'll bring in Pete because I want Pete, Matt, and David to organize their thoughts, take their time. There's no rush. I'm going to ask Giselle, if you're back there, type the order again if we can. We have Pete going first, Matt going second, and David going third. Let's read some of your comments as I bring in Kelly J. White, as I bring in Pete. We won't talk about this topic, of course. What I do want to talk to you guys about is your criteria. Kelly, could you please tell us what your criteria is as a judge?
Absolutely. And this really doesn't change. It's static no matter which tournament I'm looking at. And the first part is to complete all components of the topic. Sometimes there's only one. Sometimes, Avi, you've thrown 3 or 4 at people. That makes it pretty complex. You got to listen up. You got to complete all the components. The other is the depth of argument. Can't just really skate by with surface level stuff. You got to dig down a little bit. Bring me something that shows you worked at it mentally. Also, a logical presentation. You can't be here, there, and yonder. It's got to have at least some semblance of a flow to it. The other thing typically is you've got to handle some rebuttals. I want to see how you do that. Do you do it well? Is that where you fumble and drop the ball? And lastly, a personal connection to the topic, which a lot of times you hand them on a silver plate. Sometimes they've got to work for it, but it's something I always look for in any of these contests. That sums it up for me.
It's funny that you bring that up because, again, in terms of criteria, of course, depth. Depth is something that I think is required. How deep can we go? Personalization, I mean, that's one thing. I'm not judging, of course, but personalization I would think is one of them. Now, Pete, what are you looking for? Of course, you've been judging for a very long time, an educated man as well. Criteria-wise, what are you looking for?
Well, for me, it's going to be, clarity on the subject. Obviously, depth, because you need depth when you need to know what you're talking about. It's as logical. It's got to be logical to what the topic pertained and what the topic's talking about. And also timing. I would say it needs to be more than a 30-second answer to the topic. Those are my criteria.
You're saying you want the person to get to the root of it rather quickly and then flesh things out?
Well, not get to it quickly. I just don't want the answer to be too fast. Like,
you don't want it to be too fast. Okay.
No, I don't want it to be too fast. I don't want to be like, I'm not going to discuss the topic, but I don't want this is what I chose. This is it. And 30 seconds in, it's over. No, I want you to explain why you chose this historical person, and how this person helped you or would help you in the height of your career. Explain in detail.
And it's also fair to also let our viewers know you guys will be voting after topic number 1. Give us the whys. We love our community here. One of the most positive communities. There's no one better here. Who resonates with you? That's pretty much presentation-wise who resonate most with you.
Yep.
That's what we're looking for. I want to let our viewers know again, guys, this is the team challenge. Final lap of round 2 is coming up. We still have some second-round participants in round 2 who are waiting perhaps round 3. That's where David Tank Abbott resides in this tournament. Pete Babcock, Dr. Fink, and many others. We still have Jesse Ventura coming up for a second-round match. We still have Sully, Jesse, Raphael. We still have mystery people. So wait for the outro tonight after this match and find out next week which second-round match is on the horizon, guys and gals and pals. Myron, thank you so much for your kind words about the community. You're a part of that, so thank you for being part of the engine that makes this thing go. Same with you, Allison. More comments here before we bring in Mr. Pete Babcock, who will lead the way with topic 1. And, of course, then Matt Fink and David Tank Abbott. All 3 will be on screen, so Matt will be on screen with Pete and with David as well. Elijah Clift, that's a very deep, thought-provoking topic. There's so many to choose from. You're right. You're absolutely right. Let us know who you choose, guys. We really want to know that. Jacques, of course, being really kind there to everybody in the comment section. We appreciate you. You're part of this as well, a third rounder also. My term papers would have disappointed Kelly for sure, says Jimmy.
Don't know about that, would have to say.
Guys, again, we'll address you as always We want you to vote after topic 1, but you have to vote after all 3 participants have presented. I will place Mr. Pete and Mr. Kelly J. White backstage right now. We will see them very, very soon after topic number 1. As I bring in Mr. Pete Babcock right now, and Mr. Matt Fink, and Mr. David Tank Abbott on screen. Here we go, Mr. Babcock, Mr. Abbott, and Mr. Fink. I see you back there. I don't quite see you back there. There we go. And guys and gals and pals, I'm going to kick it over to Mr. Babcock. I'll read it very quickly to our new viewers. Not the whole topic, but the most important part is the question. Pete, if you could go back in time and ask a deceased historical figure to assist you in some way, shape, or form during the height of your career, who would you select and why? Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours. Good, sir.
Well, I thought about a couple different people. It hit me right away since I was in the basketball business. I thought about John McClendon and thought about what he could do to help me. Thought about John Wooden, who I used to go on hour-long walks with to pick his brain. But I settled on Red Auerbach. And the reason I settled on Red is that, my job was to try to build a championship contender. And you could arguably say that Red built the greatest franchise in sports history. And it's the way that he did it. We shared a common interest in the social aspect of the game. Red didn't want anybody to know how he felt about these things. He kept it to himself. But, Red drafted the first African American into the NBA. He started the first all-black starting 5, and he hired the first black coach in the NBA. And it did so many things behind the scenes that if I could pick his brain and get his advice on putting the puzzle together, because when you're a general manager and you're assembling the team, it's really assembling a puzzle, but the pieces have to all fit in the puzzle. And Red was a genius at that. And it wasn't just, by definition, a center and a power forward and a small forward, shooting guard, point guard. It wasn't as simple as that. It was the mentality of the players. It was the makeup and character of the players. So when Red, and learning from Red, going way back, Red, when he was in college, he was assigned, he had an internship at basically a reform school, and there were 5 teams of kids that were there in the reform school, 3 white and 2 black. And he chose to work with one of the black teams because he felt that they had a greater need and that he could do more to help. And he did this quietly, without any fanfare. When he came into the NBA, he followed through with that same type of commitment. As obvious, through our conversations, after when he drafted Chuck Cooper into the NBA as the first African American, he also signed Sweetwater Clifton to a contract, and the commissioner of the NBA disapproved the contract because he didn't want 2 black players on the same team. Red never got over that, but he felt strongly about Sweetwater Clifton. And behind the scenes, when Sweetwater retired, Sweetwater decided he wanted to drive a cab in Chicago because his mother lived there and she wasn't doing well health-wise. He didn't have the money to buy a cab. Red Auerbach, quietly, but nobody knew about it, he bought the cab for Sweetwater Clifton, and Sweetwater took pride in being the best cab driver in Chicago, took great pride in what he was doing, and actually died behind the wheel of his cab at the end of his life. So Red had this way of bringing character together, backgrounds that were diverse. I know when I used to work with Paul Silas, who played for Red, and also Wayne Embry played for Red, and to this day, Wayne is a good friend. And we talk about Red a lot, and he'll talk about how when Red put the team together, it was much more complicated than, as I said earlier, with just this little simple puzzle. he was looking for people who had diversity. That could be religious, ethnically, parts of the country, from the South, from the North, from the West. He wanted a variety of types of people, and he found that those teams would have the most success. Now, obviously, he had Bill Russell, and he had a lot of great players on his team, but he's the one that put them all together. So if there's somebody that I could say, when I was at the height of my career, whatever that medium height may have been, if I could have leaned on Red and talked to Red and gotten his advice, he's the person that I would want to lean on. And I remember I once told our media, my last days in Atlanta, I said, there are three people that if they want to join your franchise and be part of your franchise, you don't ask them what job they want. You don't ask them how much money they want. You just say absolutely. And that would be Red Auerbach, John Wooden, and Jerry West in those days, because nobody could be any of those three people. And Red was such a unique individual, never wanted credit for integrating the league, never wanted credit for all things he did behind the scenes. Camps he would run for kids, things he would do like with Sweetwater. I always had great admiration for Red for that. And so Red would be my guy.
Red Auerbach. Wow. Yeah. My gosh. I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head. I may miss one. Satch Sanders, Sam Jones, Casey Jones, Bill Russell. Was it Willie Knowles?
Willie Knowles.
Yeah, this was, in case people are wondering, that's the first all-black starting five in NBA history. Texas.
And people need to understand how dramatic that was. It may not sound like anything today, but there was such a quota system in the NBA. Just like 1950 when he drafted Chuck Cooper, the commissioner wouldn't let him have two blacks on the team.
Right.
That was 1950, and then each year it got a little better. So, but there was this quota system where it went from 1 to 2 to 3, but don't have any of them as your starters. Eventually, it was like, okay, one guy can start. The roles they had to play needed to be subservient roles.
Sure.
First one to break out of that was Maurice Stokes. He was the first one to actually blossom as like a superstar.
Right.
But before that, they were held back.
And Maurice Stokes was kind of like a prototype of he reminded me of a Charles Barkley type, because about 6'5", 270, runs the floor really well. All of a sudden, and I may be getting the story wrong, I believe he was on the team plane after a game against Minneapolis, and I think he suffered a stroke, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he had 2 games before that, last regular season game, he drove the basket, got hit, fell, hit his head, was unconscious. They revived him. He finished the game.
Right.
They played in the first playoff game like 2 days later.
Sure.
Didn't play great, but had like 15 rebounds and was okay. But on the flight home, he suffered a seizure that left him paralyzed for life.
And of course, the story is, if I'm not mistaken, Jack Twyman. A lot of people talk about Brian's song, but there's a great movie called Maury.
That is an amazing story, because here's Jack Twyman, a white star player, only 23 years of age, and Maurice Stokes has nobody to take care of him. He's totally paralyzed, can't speak, can't move, and Jack Twyman officially adopts him, becomes his legal guardian, and Jack takes care of him the last 12 years of his life. Not for 6 months, 12 years.
No, 12 years. And Maurice was wheelchair bound, like you said. A hell of a story. When you bring this up, when you bring up the first starting five, as you brought up, I remember reading years ago that there was an unofficial gentleman's agreement that typically ensured that at least one white player was on the floor. It was like this unofficial gentleman's agreement. And when it came to Red Auerbach, when he drafted Chuck Cooper, which again was way before the first all-5 black starting lineup in the NBA, he was quoted as saying, "I don't give a damn if he's striped, plaid, or polka dot. I am taking Charles Cooper," and he did.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that's so groundbreaking.
the quote actually is from Walter Brown, but Walter Brown and Red were there together in the draft room. And in those days, everybody was in one room from the whole league. So it wasn't done by telephone like it is today. So everybody was in the same room, and some media said, he's a black player. And that was Walter Brown's famous comment.
By the way, I wanted to let David, Matt, and I'm sure Pete knows this. If you ever watched the 84 draft, which is considered the draft of all drafts, it produced Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, right? Some of the greatest. Look at the guy on the phone. Look at the guy on the phone that represents the Portland Trailblazers. When you could clearly tell, hey, listen, Sam Bowie was a hell of a player, but he was also injured. He was banged up. He was definitely an injury risk, and that turned out to be what we witnessed in his NBA career. But look at those Portland execs on the phone. And then when Chicago's about to pick, look at them. Look at the Chicago Bulls executives grinning ear to ear knowing they got MJ at number 3. This guy falls down to number 3. You just brought that up when you brought up great NBA draft moments. Guys and gals and pals, let us know who you're drafting as your number 1 overall pick, but not yet. First, we have to hear from Dr. Matt Fink, David Tank Abbott, and then you will let us know who you vote for first and why. And as I told David Tank Abbott this, and I'll say it publicly, I like your shirt a lot.
Thank you.
I dig the shirt. I dig the shirt. You guys are all well dressed. This is pretty cool. Matt Fink is going to go next, guys and gals and pals. Hello, Clay. So I'll read this out to our new viewers in case you're just joining us live right now. Mr. Matt Fink, if you could go back in time and ask a deceased historical figure to assist you in some way, shape, or form during the height of your career, who would you select and why? Whenever you're ready, good sir, the floor belongs to you.
Of course, this is an interesting question for all of us, I'm sure. And I noticed that Mr. Babcock had several choices that he mentioned first. But 2 that come to my mind immediately were George Martin, who produced the Beatles, and their manager, Brian Epstein. But I'm kind of a producer. Even I respect George Martin. He's one of the greatest of all time. But I'm going to go with Mr. Epstein, no relation to the other Epstein. And and because he guided the Beatles in such a way that he rocketed them to the forefront of pop culture, doing what he did. He really and he wasn't that experienced at it at first. He was just a record store owner in London, but he loved the music business so much, and he believed in the Beatles in the beginning, and he cut his teeth working with them. And then he probably, I'm sure he learned from a few other mentors along the way, but he himself was a master marketer and taught the Beatles how to present themselves and how to bring a real class act to the world. Because in the beginning, the Beatles were very rough around the edges. They wore motorcycle jackets and were kind of rough and tumble, and they were playing these nasty clubs in Germany and cutting their teeth there, and the Cavern Club and all that. And then he said, guys, you got to work on your image. We want to class it up because we want you to appeal to the masses. And then we're going to get you in front of the Queen someday, the royalty. And so we got to put you in some really great suits, and then we're going to put some controversial haircuts on you and put you in front of everybody. And then I'm going to get you on Ed Sullivan, and introduce you to America. So he did all these things to build their career. He was absolute genius. And I would have loved to have had him come in even to help Prince and the Revolution at some point. We had good management at that time, but I think he could have brought a lot to the table at the height of our career. But after I left Prince and the early version of the New Power Generation, I was in that group for 4 years after the Revolution was disbanded. And then when I put out a solo album back in 2001, literally the day before 9/11, Prince was promoting it for me on his website. He really liked my solo effort. And then the conversation from fans and everybody on his website, I like Dr. Fink's record. This is pretty good. And Prince said, yeah, check it out, blah, blah, blah. And then 9/11 happened, and I had no support, none, from record label people or marketing people at that time. I was looking for people to help with it. And, at my age at that time, I don't know, I can't remember. I might have been 41 or 2 or something, 3. And the album came, I was 43 at the time. And the album came out, and record labels at that time were kind of like, you're a little old. It's been a minute since you put something out. I know you've been producing other acts and doing studio work for people all this time and working for record labels, blah, blah, blah. I could have used a guy like Brian Epstein to guide me and help me get ahead in the music industry. So that's why I picked him.
It's a good pick. I would have picked him to, I don't know, maybe to produce some of the intros that we do here on the show, because he was a hell of a...
Sure, that too. Why not? But
I'll tell you this. I remember reading about the song "Please Please Me," of course. It was kind of like a Roy Orbison style slow number in the beginning, and then he suggested, "Hey, let's speed this thing up. Let's speed up the ballad." They did, something clicked, rest was history, and he said, "Gentlemen, you just made your first #1."
Yeah, I remember that too. I read that about him too. I've read up on Brian Epstein.
Well, let me ask you this, Matt, about and I'm going to kick you guys over to Mr. David Tank Abbott. When it comes to Mr. Martin, do you feel as if right now, when we're talking about some, geniuses like him, is there more resistance? I think we know the answer, but for our viewers, is there more resistance right now from labels to be able to expand, try out new things, not necessarily fit the mold, be as revolutionary, of course, as you and the revolution was? Is there a bit more pushback these days for that, for innovation?
No, they're looking for innovation now. They really are. They're looking for new, unique talent that are breaking new ground. And, if they could find the next Beatles, they'd love to get it right now.
Sure.
They really would. And I've heard so much great talent, up and coming talent these days. They're out there, and because of the way the industry is working now, they don't get enough support.
Well, yeah, I mean, they'd like to get the next Beatles. I'd like to be 7'7" and shatter backboards and date Cindy Crawford. That's not happening.
Sure.
It's what we want. Well, you're right. It's like, it seems like now's the time, right? I mean, you have your finger on the pulse, right, Matt? You think now's the time?
Yeah. But we have people like Taylor Swift who are massive, and some other groups that are fill stadiums and that's the key. But she's a great songwriter, and there are other great songwriters out there, and artists that are in the forefront, and I like a lot of them. I think they're excellent. So I think it's okay, but it's a bit more difficult though, because the record labels aren't spending the kind of money they did in the past. They would they'll still give you some support, but they won't promote, or they'll spend money on promotion, but the rest is up to you. You have to work a lot of your own social media and get out there and play live a lot to get your following going. And so it's a little more difficult. Back when I was with Prince, Warner Brothers Records had a ton of support for us in the beginning. They had money behind us to give us equipment to support the album budgets, all that stuff. And unless you're an already bigger established artist, or they believe in you a lot, which is, the top 1% of newly signed artists, then they may give you that $150,000 album budget, which you're just going to the bank and going into debt for anyway.
And it seems like right now that's what we're seeing from a lot of the overnight sensations on social media, because self-financing your own vision. We're seeing a lot of people self-financing their own vision.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some comments from our viewers. Bethany, Brian Epstein was more than a manager. He was a music missionary, one of the first 2 managers to be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Epstein had an unprecedented talent for marketing his clients. Thank you there, Bethany. Appreciate your comments. Absolutely. Just for a few, I'm sure they would want to return to their families eventually. Great choice, Dr. Fink, says Jimmy. Thank you. At TKN, you see this person, not the celebrity. Thank you, Lester. That's my objective. Getting to know the person behind the persona, no doubt about that. We're seeing that here across the board. We have a comment here. I want to pull this up. Can't find it. It was definitely apropos. But guys, we're going to kick it over right now to Mr. David Tank Abbott. And remember, Once Mr. Abbott concludes his presentation, you guys can vote. We'll bring in Kelly and Pete as well. We'll see who votes. Again, who resonates most with you and why. Same question. I'll read it out loud to our viewers. Mr. Abbott, if you could go back in time, David, and ask the deceased historical figure to assist you in some way, shape, or form during the height of your career, who would you select and why? Whenever you're ready, my friend, the floor belongs to you.
Wow, Avi. This is a hard one for me because I pretty much started the career. So there was no Ultimate Fighting before me, basically. The first 5 shows were basically a jiu-jitsu commercial for the Gracies, and say what you want, but that was basically a commercial for jiu-jitsu. And then I came along. The show was bought by some music producers that were doing shows on pay-per-view. And turns out that I put the fighting in Ultimate Fighting because up at that point it was just basically jiu-jitsu matches, tapping out guys that didn't know jiu-jitsu. And then my show came along, and I told them all beforehand that I was going to show them what real fighting was. And they found out real quick because that was the first fight of UFC 6, which, like I said before, the Gracies owned 1 through 5. And Bob Meyerowitz bought the show then. And so it was overnight, literally a year and a week earlier, I was going to jail for the same exact thing. And so to go back and find somebody that was dead that I could almost ask as a mentor, what would you do to help me along this crazy road that I got on? There's nobody there. And so I went to Mike Tyson, he's kind of lived a crazy life through boxing. I could go with a parallel with that, but he's still alive. So then I thought of Muhammad Ali, and I'm not so, the greatest of all time. He's an insane, crazy boxer. That guy's was definitely the greatest of all time. And all the things that he went through, he's also a character of everything, the 60s and Vietnam and all of that, where, he lived his life. And I would say, not being brushed up on his history and all that kind of stuff, that it'd be interesting to see what he had to say about all those kind of things and the way he marched through life like fighters do. They're kind of selfish and beat their own drum. And so I'm stuck with Muhammad Ali. I'm not really stuck with him, but that's close as you can get to being a mentor to me. And all the things that he went through, and he just hammered through. And then I was thinking about it as you guys were talking. And the thing is that he was just himself. And so is Mike Tyson, the scoundrel that some people think he is, or some people think he's a great person, but who am I to guess what you think or will have anything to say on what you think about somebody else? So, how are you going to refute Muhammad Ali's accomplishments, in and out of the ring? He was a social phenomenon that went on and did things that went beyond boxing. And, I like to think that I'd still be myself, but it'd be interesting to ask him some of the things that were on the cutting edge where it might be controversial, that maybe as I found out as I'm getting older that I could have kept my mouth shut about. And, that's basically who I'm stuck with, and just reminds me how old I am, being the first guy that really came out of that whole situation. So you know, other than that, there's the guy that owned the show, Bob Meyerowitz, but he's still alive also. So, you know, I would like to ask him some questions. Although I don't know if I was too young enough to listen to him at that time. What would be some of the more smoother business situations, and, you know, instead of being F that, you know, kind of go with the flow kind of thing that you kind of figure out when you get older. So Muhammad Ali is my choice. And I guess the takeaway from that is I think he would tell me, just be yourself. And obviously that's who he was. And obviously he was a great man. So that's who I picked.
Wow. Muhammad Ali. It's, you know, part of this network and part of the celebrity tournament, David, a former heavyweight champion, Larry Holmes, who resides in Easton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he beat him.
He beat him 1980. And I asked Larry a question about Muhammad Ali to pick his brain behind the scenes. And he told me the same thing you said. He said, I was a confident fighter, but if I had to ask someone for advice, it would obviously be Muhammad Ali, not so much for what he can provide as an athlete or what he has done in the ring, but how he was able to go through all the political strife that was thrown at him. I mean, this was obviously a tough time, but at the same time, it seemed as if his story didn't really begin in the ring, nor did it end in the ring. Everything that happened in between, right, Tank?
Yeah, it's very true, you know, with Vietnam and all of that kind of stuff. And like I said, I got to brush up on his history. But I definitely know he was a pivotal figure at that point in time.
Yeah, yeah. Let me ask you this. Contrast of styles. I mean, so UFC, what made it so great during your era, you and some other gentlemen revolutionized the sport. We talked about how back then there was an influx of different styles. Of course, maybe to promote the Gracies, sure, it was their baby. But do you feel as if MMA as we know it today, in your opinion, has been a bit more watered down since when you began?
Well, yes, you know, but it had to evolve. And, you know, these young kids out there like to pretend they invented the wheel, like they know how to fight better than we did back then, when that's not true. But let them think what they want. They're young. And the weight classes and that kind of stuff, it kind of waters everything down. I don't know of any of the fighters today have ever fought in a tournament. It's a different kind of man that fights in a tournament.
Yeah.
You know, you name any of the big name fighters nowadays, I don't really follow them, but I never heard of them fighting in a tournament. And that's basically what the premise was at the time. You fought in an 8-man tournament in a couple hours.
That's insane. When you 8-man tournament in a couple of hours.
Yeah. That's
Oh my gosh. I mean, you can't wrap your mind around that. An 8-person tournament in a couple of hours. Dan Severn, who's part of this tournament as well, told me the same thing you said, is that the sport has to evolve, sports, music, entertainment, right? At some point. But when you think about the sheer audacity of someone saying, I'm going to sign myself up for a tournament like this where I might have multiple fights in one night in a cage against different styles. I mean, that's what you did. And you know, people say there were no rules, but let's be honest here. Compared to what we see today, there wasn't. It was mano a mano.
There wasn't any rules back in those days.
Yeah.
There was a few, and then they started adding them once I started fighting. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, they had to start weight classes and stuff like that because they're running out of people. And it opened the demographic. You know, every guy thinks he's tough when they're young kids. But size kind of limits you on that whole situation. Back in my day, you know, how to behave. You know how to behave when the football team came to the party.
I have to ask all three of you gentlemen a question about Muhammad Ali. Did any of you get a chance to meet Muhammad Ali? At all? Any point?
I didn't. I've been at functions where he was at functions, but I never met him. Ted Turner had a award called the Trumpet Awards.
Right.
For contributions to civil rights and equal rights. And one year I was there at the banquet, and Muhammad Ali was receiving the trumpet award from Ted, and Muhammad's Parkinson's had started, but it wasn't full blown yet.
Sure.
So he walks out on the stage and he takes the award from Ted, and he looks at it, and he looks at Ted, and he looks at the award, looks at Ted, and he goes, "You couldn't do better than this?" You know? Ted just cracked up, but that was just Muhammad
typical. Typical Ali.
Yeah.
He was a lot of what's that, Tank?
Yeah, I actually saw him at the LA Forum, and they had boxing back in the day.
Yeah.
And the takeaway from that is that was a big man. That guy was huge.
Right.
You don't take away from watching him on TV or anything like that. But when I saw him in person, he was across the arena. But geez, man, that was a big guy.
You all brought up stories that can benefit you to have a Muhammad Ali in your corner. I mean, he can improve my rhymes. Muhammad Ali, on top of all that, would rhyme. So how could you not want to have Muhammad Ali as your mentor, right? By the way, he was known to have one of the best reaches, of course, as a boxer. People might know that, historians or people who are boxing aficionados. One thing about Muhammad Ali is that he took a lot away from pro wrestling. The gift of gab, selling, right? His character to the media. He was a Gorgeous George fan. So, like, he was the first to really implement entertainment in that sport. And, of course, we've seen people try to emulate him, David, but maybe sometimes fail at those attempts. There was one Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to try to act like him. No.
Not at all. And guys and gals and pals, right now in the comments section, all of you can vote. Let us know who resonated most with you, guys and gals. Pete Babcock and Red Auerbach. Of course, David Tank Abbott and Muhammad Ali. And, guys, George Martin for Mr. Fink. So
no, Brian Epstein. Hold on, Brian Epstein.
Brian Epstein. Excuse me, Brian Epstein. Brian Epstein.
Okay.
I will say this, though, guys. If you have to vote right now in the comments section, please tell us why. Give us the whys. We love your whys. Let us know. The judges will. Let's bring in Mr. Kelly J. White. And let us know who he votes for and why.
All right. You guys aren't making it easy tonight, are you? Is this because you're in round 3? You got to show off? Is that the deal?
Yep.
It's in the contract.
I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to start with Tank. And that's something I hadn't thought about because, you were basically the innovator for Ultimate Fighting Championship. Like you said before that, it was just kind of a jiu-jitsu work, for lack of a better term. So it would be hard to find somebody to guide you in something that's new. Understand that. But I was here and I've heard your full story that you've told on this network before. And I'm thinking maybe if you'd went in the direction of somebody to maybe keep you out of trouble, may have helped you out. Maybe one of those kind of professional people from back in the day, or somebody, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that had was known for that stuff, not necessarily the fighting part. So I'm just saying, I'm thinking maybe that was a different direction you could have went. Ali was a great choice, though, to have to pick somebody that, for something that hadn't been done before. So I really did like the innovation you brought with that choice. Matt, I didn't know that much about any music producers, so your bit was definitely an education. And I'm a typical fan, so I knew about the Beatles, but a typical fan that doesn't do the deep dives doesn't know behind the scenes and all the people that really get things done. So it was very educational in that. I think you hit all components of the topic very well. It was interesting, depth, and it had a personal connection right there. So I enjoyed that. Pete, pretty much the same with you. I mean, you came in, you jumped on the topic. You mentioned a couple, then you went with Red, who I'm not a basketball guy, but being around Avi, even I know who he is. And you picked him. You had real depth with going into some of the things that he did. It was a very logical presentation, and it showed a great personal connection. And again, it was very educational. So for me, this came down not so much, people not hitting all the components of my criteria, but basically who told it best. And Pete, I don't know, you've got this way about you. It's you're like a Walter Cronkite. You say it, I'm going to believe it. So by a thin margin, I'm giving you my vote tonight, Mr. Babcock.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uncle Walty. And by the way, the only person that didn't believe and yelled at Walter Cronkite was LBJ, who said, "Damn it, you're killing us out here."
That's right.
Oh yeah, yeah. He took the whole Vietnam War away from him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How mean was that?
Kelly J. White here, guys, lending us his expertise. We appreciate him as always. This was only topic number 1. We got one more to go. I'm going to put Mr. Kelly J. White backstage. And Giselle, if you could tally this, thank you so much for doing that. Before we bring in Pete, let's bring in your votes in the comments section and see who you guys vote for and why. Miranda votes for Tank. He had clarity, organization, and depth with a personal touch. They all did well. Tank really resonated, really touched me. Thank you, Miranda. Appreciate that. More votes, of course. Let me read more. Bethany, I vote for Tank. So Bethany concurs. He resonated with me the most. I learned so much education from all of them. Thank you. That's what it's all about. We have more votes from Eric. Tank Abbott. Muhammad Ali. Ali, all-around sports idol. I don't know of any athlete that owned the better part of 2 decades, more so than Muhammad Ali, says Eric. 2 decades. That's true. 60s and 70s, of course. That is Eric voting for Mr. Tank Abbott. Joe Rositano votes for Tank as well. I think he gave a clear view of why he picked him, how that could help his history, and where he could grow. So Joe votes for Mr. Abbott as well. Okay. Michael, wrong participant. You're voting for Phil. Phil's not here, but try next week. Wrong night. Christopher says, oh boy, it's tough. I like to vote for all 3, but my vote goes to Pete on this round. Pete was very detailed and really resonated with me. Thank you, Christopher, for your vote as well. Jimmy, all 3 taught me a tremendous amount tonight. We appreciate you guys being positive as always. Thank you. Difficult vote indeed. Chad says, I'm going to vote for the good doctor. He gave me the right dose of information that I can resonate with. I see what you did there. But great job by Tank and Pete. So Chad votes for Mr. Fink. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate that. Some more votes. Phil votes Tank. He had a more personal approach. Okay. Whatever resonates with you guys. Jimmy, very grateful to be listening in here. I feel like we're in the TKN living room. Thank you. And I also love Dr. Fink's cat, says Jimmy. So, yeah, we did. Before the show began, he told us about his cat. You got 2 of them, I believe, Doctor.
Yep.
So, 2 of them. Love these stories by all 3 tonight. Thank you so much. Let's see if I missed any votes. Some of you guys and gals are shy, but let us know who you're voting for right now. Myron votes for Dr. Fink. Thank you for your vote as well, Myron. Okay. Got a couple more. Mr. Jacques Rougeau. Pete got my vote. So Jacques Rougeau. Jacques' part of this tournament as well. Jacques, the Mountie Rougeau, part of the team challenge, and also a 3rd-round participant. And also glad he's not in Canada right now, freezing his you-know-what off. He's in Florida. So thank you, Jacques. Jacques is not preparing for the snow. Neither is David Tank Abbott, but the rest of us are. But I'm not in Minnesota, so I'm not going to have to deal with Dr. Fink has to deal with.
We don't get any snow. It's just cold right now.
You're not getting any snow?
We're not in the snow zone. This cold air is what's driving the snowstorm south of us.
Oh God! And I felt bad for you before the show started.
No, it's super. You should still feel bad. It's colder than a you know what. I mean, geez, I told you it was 21 below last night. For God's sake,
you did say that. That's true.
Yeah. Come on, give me a break. At least we're not slipping in the slide, and
I'll give you a break. Give me a break.
Give me a break here. What are you doing? What are you talking?
What am I doing?
Okay.
Pete Jimmy votes Pete for the great Red Auerbach story. The impact of sports integration of all had a huge impact on our society. I'm enjoying tonight. We're having a blast. I love this. Let's bring in Pete, who's backstage as well. And Lester, got to vote here. Lester, so hard to vote for just one. However, I have to go with Pete. Thank you, Lester, for your vote as well. Okay. And yeah, let's bring in Pete, who's backstage. No, Sal. I vote for Tank Abbott on this one. I appreciate his thought process regarding his selection of Muhammad Ali. Appreciate that. Stay safe, Lester. Ice storm in North Texas. Stay safe, please. Pete, let's bring you up here on screen and see who you vote for and why, good sir.
All right, gentlemen, this is why I love TKN and I love judging, because I learn from everybody. I had no idea who Red Auerbach was. I had no idea who Brian Epstein is. I had no idea. But I do today. I do tonight. I learned a lot. Muhammad Ali, I learned a lot about him tonight. And Tank, I actually thought you were going to go with yourself because, like you said, there is no person to compare yourself to because you were the originator of your sport. So it's kind of hard, and there's nobody there you can actually get mentorship type advice from besides yourself, maybe. But, Pete, Mr. Babcock, I love how you talked about Red Auerbach, that he brought people together in basketball. He was a genius, a mentor, and you would have used him for advice. I just wish you would have elaborated on what that advice would have been. And I think you would have completed the whole topic there. And Dr. Fink, you were the only one who actually hit every single point of the topic, and as to why you would have used Brian Epstein as someone to help you at the height of your career, him to get you over with your record. And that's why my vote goes for Phil. Oh, wait. We're not voting for Phil. I'm just joking. My vote goes for Mr. Fink.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Pete. Pete votes for Dr. Fink. We have another vote here. Let me bring this up real quick. This is from Allison. I agree. I vote for Tank as well. So we are tallying this, and I shall see it pretty soon, I'm sure. Pete, guys and gals and pals, really never heard of Red? Oh, because you're a Knicks fan.
There's a whole story about the Knicks, yeah.
Yeah. But Red, here's another story about Red. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Babcock, but Red did almost everything but sell popcorn for the team. I mean, we're talking about no assistant coaches. This is the day where he essentially did every single thing for that organization and then some, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Red Auerbach.
And he was offered the Knicks job when John White Brown assumed ownership of the Boston Celtics. He and John White Brown did not, to say they disliked each other would be putting it mildly. And Red was going to quit, and the Knicks offered him this huge deal.
Right.
And he contemplated it, but he decided he couldn't leave the Celtics. And then Red was happy that John White Brown finally sold the team, and he told the fans in Kentucky, he said, you people in Kentucky better be careful. He'll sell the Kentucky Derby on you. He didn't like John White Brown at all, not even a little bit.
Well, that's yet another example about why Red Auerbach was a genius. As a long-suffering Knicks fan, he knew well enough to turn down the New York Knickerbockers in favor of the Boston Celtics. I wish I could have turned down the Knicks as a fan. I wish I could.
Don't we all?
I tried to do so. I couldn't do it. Guys and gals, that's Pete, of course. Put him backstage. We'll see him very soon for our final topic. We'll find out again, overall vote getter for topic number 2. Right now, guys and gals and pals, I'll ask the person who's tallying to please send me everything we have via text. Please send it to me via text, and we'll see where we stand with the votes via text. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Right now, I want to play a fun game. Very fun game. Before we move on to topic number 2. I call this game I'd Pay. This is, if topic number 1 is like first period history class, this is definitely going down to the cafeteria and letting our hair down, having fun. That's what this is. We're going to have some fun before we head on to our final topic, which is another classroom. I call this game I'd Pay. And Mr. Fink is going to play with us, so Mr. Babcock and Mr. Abbott. I'm going to start with Dr. Fink. I'm going to give him a trio of options, and he'll let me know of the following which he would pay for to see and why. He's got to pick one. Of course, these options are wacky. They let us stretch our mind that way. That's why they're supposed to be wacky. They've never played this game before. I'd pay. Of the following, Mr. Fink, which would you pay for to see and why of the following? Rocky Balboa is a neurosurgeon, Seinfeld is a correctional officer, or Rambo is a talk show host?
Oh, Seinfeld is a corrections officer for sure.
Why?
Because it would be really funny. he would bring a real comedy bent to it, I'm sure. And he'd probably sit there and do like all kinds of like bantering punchlines with the guy that he's bringing into jail and all that. He'd probably have all kinds of funny anecdotes and asides and
And
questions. What?
And maybe get himself killed, right? I mean,
yeah, he might insult the guy. You never know. He could try maybe he would do like a Don Rickles, Seinfeld episode. I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of options for Seinfeld.
Did you guys watch Seinfeld? Did you ever watch it?
Oh yeah.
Did you guys notice how many cereal boxes he had in his? He never touched any of them. He had like 30 cereals, right?
That's because Kramer would come in and eat.
That was all Kramer cereals.
Yeah. Yeah, he was always eating it.
Stock up for good old Kramer. That's a good point there. Let me ask Mr. Pete Babcock, which he paid for, why the following. We have Rocky Balboa as a neurosurgeon, Seinfeld as a correctional officer, or Rambo the talk show host, Pete?
Well, I was going to go with Seinfeld, but since Matt took him, I'll go with Rambo as a talk show.
Rambo's a talk show host.
Yeah, well, just because he doesn't like the answer, he's probably just going to take the guy out. I mean, it's like the interview would be over. So I don't know. I mean, my first inclination would be go to Seinfeld just because the humor of the whole thing. But I figure that one's already been answered.
Yeah, and would he have the knife on him or no?
Oh, you have to. I mean, how could you be Rambo without the headband, the knife? I mean, you'd have to have the whole works.
Yeah, and that would probably serve as the great equalizer in case he has a silent guest that needs to talk. It's a talk show, for crying out loud. Mr. David Tank Abbott, what do we got over here, my friend? We have Rocky Balboa as a neurosurgeon, Seinfeld as a correctional officer, or Rambo the talk show host?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Rocky. And I guess Adrian would have to be his nurse.
Adrian would be the nurse, okay.
Yeah, I guess when they were doing it, he'd go, yo, Adrian. Hand me the scalpel.
Yeah, but you have to admit, though, David, we don't need Mickey as trainer there in that room. We don't need him.
No, maybe that's who they'd be doing it to. Performing surgery on.
Yeah, it'd be the first time that Rocky would be cutting somebody instead of himself. He used to cut me, like you're cutting somebody else, Mick. We don't need a motivational speech from Mickey in that room at that moment. We don't need that.
No.
No, but we do appreciate him. Second, I'd pay right now for Mr. Matt Fink as we roll it back to him. Mr. Dr. Fink, who would you pick and why of the following? Hannibal Lecter as a regular cast member of 90210, Big Bird as a bounty hunter, or Conan the Librarian?
Conan the Librarian?
Sure.
Oh, for sure, Conan the Librarian. Oh, yeah, I love that right there. I mean, just think of that guy sitting at the desk when you walk in, and he's dressed like that with, well, it's not really dressed much. But he's sitting there, and you walk in, and you say, "Hey, I really need that copy of Shakespeare," and I can just see him, going with the accent and whatever. It'd be ignorant. It would be total ignorance and non-intellectual guy sitting in there. It's a complete antithesis of what a librarian should be.
Completely, I totally agree. Grapes of Wrath is due now. No.
Yes. Yeah. And then everybody looks up like, aren't you supposed to be quiet?
Right, exactly.
It's supposed to be quiet in here.
I got to tell you, that library, we might have to do something with Rambo, the talk show host, and Conan the Librarian, mix that together.
Sure.
Pete, who would you select and why of the following? We have Hannibal Lecter as a regular cast member of 90210, Big Bird the Bounty Hunter, or Conan the Librarian?
I have to go with Conan, too, the librarian. I mean, nobody's going to be talking to that library. I mean, so
except him.
Except him, yeah. So there'll be dead silence in that library. So
the safest place in town.
Yes.
Safest spot, no doubt. Mr. David Tank Abbott, we have of the following, which would you pay for to see and why, good sir? Conan the Librarian, Big Bird the Bounty Hunter, or Hannibal Lecter as a cast member of 90210?
Well, I guess I'm going to have to go with Big Bird the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, I got
just for the visual with him and the dog, the bounty hunter. They could be a team.
They could.
And the bird could be driving with the head out of the window.
Yeah.
And
David, he has experience because he ran the streets of Sesame.
What's that?
He ran the streets of Sesame a long time ago.
That's true.
Yeah,
and he would know where to look and
A ton of experience.
And the bounty hunter could be yelling at him.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
This is a writer's room. I love this. We're writing. We're actually writing stories. We have a couple more of these before we finish our final topic. Who would you pay for to follow to see and why? Dr. Fink. We have Darth Vader as a wedding planner, Godzilla as a massage therapist, or Freddy Krueger as a personal trainer.
Godzilla is a. Did you say
massage therapist?
Massage therapist. Yeah. Because I mean, that would be a hell of a massage. I mean, think about it. That it would be really intense, and if you really were hurting badly, you know, you just get that like just right into the muscles. You know, like
Right in
the
there.
knots would come right out right away.
You'd get all the kinks,
That's right. Get all the kinks out,
but he'd kill you also.
and then you'd be dead.
Yeah, but
And you'd be dead.
don't forget to fight.
Godzilla, the massage therapist, the way to go. Mr. Pete Babcock, we have Darth Vader as a wedding planner, Godzilla as a massage therapist, or Freddy Krueger, the personal trainer.
Poor Pete. He's like, oh god.
Again. I'll go with Darth Vader.
You're a Darth Vader fan, aren't you?
Yeah. That's the only reason I'm going with him.
Well, let me ask you this. So Darth Vader is a wedding planner. What would the pros and cons be in that situation?
Oh, shit.
The pros.
Oh my gosh.
It's got to be. Give me one pro, Pete. Come on, one pro. We've known each other for a while. There's got to be one pro. You're the greatest GM. You're the greatest GM in NBA history. One pro is Darth Vader as a wedding planner.
That's you're going way too far.
Come on.
Darth Vader. I mean, nobody's going to be arguing with him. I mean, he's going to get his way. So I'm at a loss. I'm in a total loss.
Well, you got to admit though, all the fish tacos would be accounted for with Darth Vader as the wedding.
Okay.
Right? Nobody would skimp there.
Right.
Mr. David Tank Abbott, who we got here? We have Darth Vader as the wedding planner, Godzilla the massage therapist, or Freddy Krueger the personal trainer.
Well, I have to go with Godzilla.
Godzilla
as the massage therapist.
Sure.
Only because he could shoot fire on your back and everything out of his mouth.
Oh, I never thought of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll warm you right up.
Well, you have to wear an asbestos suit before you go in the room.
Right.
They give you an asbestos suit when you get in the door.
And here's one we can all probably love and relate to, guys. Our final one. Dr. Fink, which would you pay for to see and why of the following? Archie Bunker is a mountain climber, Ralph Crandon, the yoga instructor, or Don Corleone, the computer repair person?
Ralph Cramden is the yoga instructor.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, because he would be so limber that you would outlimber him.
You'd outlimber him.
You'd outlimber his limberness because he wouldn't be very limber.
Yeah.
He would just
Also,
be... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, you have to admit, though, like maybe things are going swimmingly well until Norton shows up because he ruins everything, didn't he?
Yeah.
Norton, everything?
Norton would walk in, but then he'd send you to the moon along with Alice.
I got
To the moon, Alice.
To the moon. Mr. Pete Babcock, we have Archie Bunker, the mountain climber. We have Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor, and Don Corleone, the computer repair person. Which would you pay for to see and why of the following?
Archie Bunker, the mountain climber, and have him being instructed by Sammy Davis Jr.
Great episode.
That episode that they had.
Where he kissed him on the cheek.
Yes, exactly.
That's good.
Great episode. Absolutely. Archie Bunker, the mountain climber. Somehow, some way, if things didn't go his way climbing that mountain, unfortunately, he would have to yell at Edith some way. He'd have to get upset at her. Or guys and gals and pals, Mr. David Tank Abbott, to close this out right now, we have Archie Bunker as the mountain climber, Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor, or Don Corleone, the computer repair person.
Well, I'm going to have to stick with Archie. And
Archie.
Yeah, and Edith. You can't go wrong with that, with him sitting
Sure.
on a snowpack and yelling at her.
So they're both climbing. So it's like an expedition. They're kind of both climbing this thing together.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
A writer's room, guys. Like a writer's room. This is David Tank Abbott, Dr. Fink, and Pete Babcock. Before I continue with the final topic of the evening, I did bring this up, and I want to bring it up again to everybody. Please make sure, Pete, if you can, tell our audience, you didn't ask me to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this with Dr. Fink and David as well. Your book, it's definitely not only just a good read, but it's an education. And our viewers are very fascinated with your journey, your life's journey, what you stand for. I know you don't like hearing this about yourself, but what you've done to help others and assist others, those that didn't have a voice or even a choice. Tell us about your book. Tell us where we can find it, my friend.
Well, I appreciate that, Avi. It's called Courts of Justice, Life in Basketball and Activism. And the first half of the book chronicles the history of Black basketball and then how that became a vehicle to help bring races together and help with integration and break down barriers of ignorance that existed. So that's the first half of the book. The second half of the book is basically my story and the unlikely journey of this kid from Phoenix, Arizona at the time, and coming, as an overachieving student, an overachieving athlete, never a star, how went from being a high school coach to my path through the NBA, how I got into the NBA. And then as we're in the NBA, the different teams I'm with, how we use the game as a vehicle to reach the underserved in our communities, whether it was gang violence in Denver, visiting Native American reservations every September around the country, working with young people and using basketball to get the message across about healthy lifestyle, making good decisions, how to live your dream. So we just try to utilize the game as this vehicle at the same time, trying to win basketball games and build a championship team. So the book just tells that story. And I was fortunate to have two younger brothers that follow the same career path, although I tell them they weren't very creative because they couldn't come up with their own career plan, and they followed mine. But we all three were in the NBA, and it just tells that story. So we wrote it to try to educate people about all the pioneers that, like I said earlier, laid the groundwork for all of us today, and the dues that they paid, the hurdles they had to overcome, and then our unlikely story of making it into the NBA.
It's a heck of a story. I would love to have Pete Babcock's book. Sounds fascinating, says D-Man. Yeah, please, where can our audience find your book, Pete?
The only place it's available is on our website, which is real simple. It's petebabcock.com. So that's the only place you can get the book. We don't have it out anyplace else, and getting it out to teams, college teams, pro teams, but it's all on that website.
We have 1,252 watching now, guys. By the time it's all said and done, we appreciate your attendance, averaging 6-figure views when it's all said and done for each episode the last 25 weeks. Please purchase this book. It's not only a great read, but like I said, it's a great education from someone I call a dear friend who's helped so many. Please read this book. And again, Pete and David and Matt didn't ask me to do this. I want to do this because they have incredible journeys and they've been chronicled. David, again, I brought this up earlier, my friend. When it comes to your books, and I say trilogy because we're talking plural, not singular, the first one I'm going to pull up over here right now is Street Warrior, a novel, which was book number 2. That one grabbed me a ton. David, before we can, you could tell us where we could find these books. It's hard to ask this question, but is there one book that spoke to you more than any other of this trilogy?
Simply no. I wrote all 3 books as one book, obviously the trilogy, and the editor cut them up, so I love them all the same. Just different parts, but they were all written as one book.
Please share with our audience how you wrote these books, because it's a fascinating story and one that you told me the first time we spoke years ago.
Yes. I got a liver transplant and a kidney transplant from drinking too much. And I spent a lot of time in bars. And at the time, some of these guys were coming out with books, autobiographies. And I'm like, you know what? I should do that. I should write an autobiography, let the people know how it originated. from me, how I came into being. And then I thought about it, and I thought it best to write a novel because of obvious reasons. I didn't want people to think of nefarious things as being true and the law could come get me. So Walter Fox is the main hero character of the books.
Right.
And that basically goes from him and his life ending up fighting in the first real true UFC that wasn't a Gracie commercial. And overnight, his life changed. And it's the travel from going from the beginning all the way to the end of the first fight and signing the contract.
I read these books when you mailed them out to me. They were fun to read.
Yeah.
They were fun, but I also felt like, of course, they were relatable, but there was a lot of truth in there, a ton of truth in there, in terms of like, you got to know those characters in the book, and they resonated with me. I like the arcs. I do feel like you're right. When I read the third book, Cage Fighter, I think was the third one. Is that the third one?
Yeah. That's where he got into the UFC and went to fight literally a year and a week later. Turned himself into jail.
You don't talk about this as much, man, but what you've done with your life prior to the UFC and even after, there are a lot of nuggets of information that I've learned by having conversations with you. But beyond the glory, it's not about the name of the marquee. When you turn the lights off and you're face to face with a person who shares their humanity with you, you're a down-to-earth guy, man. I love your story. I love your way of being. I like how you come across. You're a good, solid human being, and I would love to have our audience sink their teeth into these books. Where could they find them, my friend?
They're on AmazonBooks.com. It's a trilogy. You just write Tank Abbott Trilogy or Tank Abbott Books, and all three of them will pop up. And they're on Audible, too.
And on Audible as well. Guys, you heard Mr. Abbott and Mr. Pete Babcock as well. Dr. Fink is always busy, and he's doing great stuff. I want Dr. Fink to tell the audience really anything that he wants about something that's coming down the pike. You always stay busy, and I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, well, speaking of books, I am in process for a book right now. And the title of the book is The Doctor is Out There. And I'd say halfway done. I'm halfway done with it. And then I did have a solo album out there at one time. It's still out there. It's on Spotify. It's called Ultrasound, Dr. Fink Ultrasound. But right now, I'm working with a new company, which is a tech company. And they've developed a new Roblox. I don't know if this is like for kids, Roblox. If anyone's heard of Roblox video games, you can, get it on your phone or on your computer. And if you own an Oculus, 3D virtual headset by Meta, the game will be available there very soon. And it's going to be music based, and I'll be on there as a Roblox character spinning music, and then we have other DJs will be spinning music, and then there's also a video game aspect to it where you're doing various. It's hard to explain unless you see it, but it's your typical kind of like shoot 'em up, bang 'em up video game kind of thing that you do for points. And there'll be sponsors and there'll be contests and all that stuff.
I love it, and I love what we're talking about behind the scenes as well. I like all your projects; they definitely speak.
Yeah,
very innovative.
Yes, and then there's a music business platform that's being developed right now that'll help independent artists and record labels keep track of all their metrics for yourself and for your artists, and including being able to sell your merchandise from one place, be able to get in touch with all the venues across the world to try to book yourself, management people, music lawyers. It's like a one-stop information site to manage your career, and it's AI assisted.
AI assisted. And again, 2026, a lot of young artists, independent artists don't know where to turn. I love that this is going to help them. No doubt about that. Guys, that's Dr. Fink, Pete Babcock, David Tank Abbott. We're about to delve into our final topic, and then we'll find out, of course, who ends up as our top vote getter. And remember, when it comes to Matt's upcoming project, Pete Babcock's book, and David Tank Abbott's books as well, of course they could come on this show and talk about it if they like. But there's also Rambo, the talk show host. I'll let them know how to contact Rambo and see if they could get on and promote their stuff on Rambo, the talk show host. What would you, David Tank Abbott, if you're on Rambo, the talk show host program, and you're talking about your books, and he just deadpans and says nothing, what would you do? What would you do to Rambo?
You got me lost right now. I don't know.
Oh, I forgot to mention one more thing. I forgot
Yeah,
to promote.
go ahead.
I forgot to promote my oldest son, Max, his music project, which is currently on Spotify under the stage name of I.M.A.M.Max. He has 2 singles there right now that you should check out. He's signed to a label right now in Los Angeles.
You were telling me about him last time.
Yes,
actually.
yes, yes. So I should have mentioned him. It's
Doing some great-
no nepotism involved here at all.
No, not at all.
Just promoting my son.
Not that
That's
I would
all.
be used to. Not that I would be used to the studio system, Matt. But thank you.
You're
Old
welcome.
wounds. Us writers, of course, who have no family members in the studio system.
Right.
Nepotism runs wild. But no. Listen, your son's music. You brought it up last time you were here months ago, and I do
Yes.
implore people to check it out. Guys and gals and pals, topic number 2 is upon us. I call this topic "A Loss Was My Win." Winning's great. It's a good feeling. There's something deeply satisfying about exacting victory. In short, I think winning makes us feel great about ourselves, but sometimes we need to wear some armor. Sometimes we have absent challenges and we sail through life with 0 obstacles, and that doesn't provide the needed armor that we need to withstand the anguish of loss, which we always encounter. It may not be so counterintuitive to ask the following question, which is, name one time in your life where a loss ended up becoming more valuable than a win. Name one time in your life where a loss ended up becoming more valuable than a win. So I'm going to put Mr. Pete Babcock and David Tank Abbott and Dr. Fink backstage. Again, the topic for these 3 gentlemen to close out tonight is naming a time in our lives where a loss ended up becoming more valuable than a win. Let's bring in Mr. Kelly J. White and Pete as I put Mr. Pete Babcock backstage along with David Tank Abbott and Dr. Fink. They could see the topic here on screen if they'd like. So it's on screen. It's scrolling here as well. And all of you as well joining us. I want to give a shout out to someone who's not feeling that well, from what I understand, not doing that well. This is Seth. Seth, I'm glad you're feeling better. So welcome, Seth. And glad to hear you're doing well and doing better. Let's bring in again Kelly J. White and Pete together. Topic number 1. So now that that's behind us,
wow.
Did you guys think about any historical figures that could have helped you at all during the height of your career?
I did actually. I mean, in the wrestling business, and he was somebody I kind of modeled my style after. Once I got more on my own and out from under, the trainer, and that was Bruiser Brody. We had a similar style, and he'd made it pretty much to the top for his time before he was, unfortunately killed. So yeah, I really thought that would be somebody that pretty much in all aspects of the business could have been very helpful at that time.
Yeah, Frank Brody. I had a conversation with his wife, Barbara Goodish.
Yeah.
He was a journalist, was part of that West Texas State football class of 60, I can't remember what it was, 66 or 65, with our friend Stan Hansen.
Yeah.
Well, they were roommates, actually, in college. Ted DiBiase, Tito Santana, all the greats played at West Texas around that same time. Question for you is this. What do you think, as far as imparting some sage advice, if somebody would ever tell you that in 2026, pro wrestling would be as big as it is, Kelly? Of course, you've wrestled independently for many years. What is it about the independent wrestler today in 2026? What is it about the independent wrestler that could benefit from remaining an independent wrestler? For someone who doesn't necessarily pursue the big two, the WWE or an AEW, what could benefit them by remaining in the indie scene?
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, for one, you know, you're still dictating your own fate. You know, you're looking for bookings, but by the same token, at a certain level, with today's resources, the internet, and all that, if you're that good, you're going to get bookings. So, you know, I'm looking at the top tier that, you know, probably WWE, AEW, maybe TNA have contacted and are like, nah, I'm good. You can still make a very good living at it. You get to travel where you want to travel, not where the company tells you. And you get to work for a variety of promotions. You don't get pinned down like a butterfly, you know, on the paper. And, you know, if you want to take a week off, which is unheard of in you know, the big leagues, you can do that. Just the amount of freedom versus a contract is immense.
It's funny. Last time I asked you this question, Pete was on screen as well. You guys were actually talking about this very topic.
He had a little different opinion than I did, but you know, he's not been there.
Pete, what are your thoughts? Any historical figure that would maybe perhaps benefit you with some sage advice during the height of your career?
Yeah, I would have to say I would go with George Washington. He was a great leader. He brought a lot of people together. And I would love to get some sage advice from him on how to bring people together and enlighten others. He'd be the person I'd go to for advice.
A lot of people thought that his dentures were made from human teeth and ivory, not wood, by the way. But that wasn't the case. That's a little known fact about George Washington. And he wasn't a wig wearer. A lot of people think he powdered his real light brown hair. He powdered it. It was a fashion at the time. That's what a lot of people did. He never wore an actual wig.
That's true. People didn't know that. That's actually a real fact of George Washington.
Yeah. He was a dog lover. I know that. I'm trying to remember what else.
Didn't like cherry trees.
Yes, he did that. He suffered from smallpox, actually.
Really?
That scarred the hell out of him. Yeah, it scarred him a lot. But he didn't just suffer from smallpox. He had malaria, tuberculosis, pneumonia. He survived countless near fatal incidents. He was shot multiple times in battle, which wasn't so uncommon as many people think back then. But George Washington went through a lot in his life, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Well, I just thought of it and then I lost it. It was about one of those things about.
Oh, it's about how he's upset that he's only the dollar bill, not the 50.
Well, he was first, so I mean there's a logic to it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But the one I've commonly heard is, you know, when they did the Declaration of Independence, we were on the way to becoming our own sovereign nation. That basically the founding fathers offered him kingship and he turned it down. Now, is that
That's
true?
That is true.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Pete, go ahead.
I mean, I know that he was offered that, but he wanted to be away from the whole British rule type thing. So he did not want to be the king. He did not foresee that for the United States. And I think also under his presidency, they wanted him to be more, I think, because when he was the first president, I think it was more than, I think, 3, but there was no term limits.
Right.
I think
that didn't come along until Roosevelt.
Really. Because he was never offered a crown after the revolution, but Colonel Louis Nicola in I can't remember the year, 81 or 82. It might have been 82. He suggested he become the king to stabilize the nation, but Washington animately rejected that notion. He said, I'm not going to. He upheld Republican values. He was offered unofficially, because it wasn't officially. Alexander Hamilton wanted the presidency to be a lifetime position. He did. Guys, I want to put Mr. Pete and Kelly J. White backstage, because as of tonight, some of you are telling me that you love what they're doing as judges. They might have a lifetime position as judges. You never know. They're kicking butt here, giving us their all as well. So give a hand for Kelly J. White and Pete doing their thing as only they can do. Appreciate them. Also, third-round participants, which we need to be aware of. So let's bring in Dr. Matt Fink. Let's bring in David Tank Abbott. Let's bring in Mr. Pete Babcock. Of course, Mr. Babcock will kick things off. I'm going to read this topic to our new viewers very quickly. Pete, can you name one time in your life where a loss ended up becoming more valuable than a win? Whenever you're ready, good sir, the floor is yours.
When I was in college, my freshman year in college, I was playing on the basketball team, and I was a backup center. The center I was playing. I was behind a 6'9" center. I was 6'6". He was a better player than me, and he was 6'9", and I was relatively small for a center. But it was the first time I'd come off the bench, and it was kind of a learning experience for me because I just hadn't been through this before, starting throughout high school. And about, 3/4 of the way through the season, the coach got into this habit of putting me in with 30 seconds left, 40 seconds left, and he would say, "Hey, go get a rebound," or, something like that. And it was kind of embarrassing because, the game was over at that point, and you're just walking on the floor, and there's a few seconds left, and, not much is going to even happen. And he was doing that to a guard on our team too. And about 3/4 of the way through the season, he does it again. There's under a minute left, and I made the unfortunate decision, along with my teammate who was a guard, to tell him we didn't want to go in. That's fine. We just sit here. Well, we got kicked off the team. We lost our both of us lost our scholarships, deservingly so. I remember going in the next morning and apologizing to the coach and telling him it was out of character, and it wasn't me. It didn't matter. I mean, I still lost my scholarship, and so it was one of the most embarrassing things I'd been through in my life at that point, and terrible decision, and was a huge loss for me. But partially because I lost my scholarship, and I remember my dad telling me, he's like, "It's up to you now to pay for school for next year." So I worked all summer, but while I was working to make enough money to go to school, I attended all the off-season workouts, and the coach let me participate in them. Never talked to me, didn't say anything, but I also tried to help recruit players for the upcoming season. And in the fall, the coach came to me and said, "Listen, I've watched everything you did all spring, all summer. I think you've learned from the experience, and I'm giving you your scholarship back." And as things worked out, my teammates voted me the captain of the team that year, and had a much different kind of season. But that loss of my scholarship, that it wasn't so much the loss of the game, the loss of my integrity, because it was a terrible decision that I made personally, putting myself above the team. I learned that from that experience. So when I came back the next year, I think my teammates appreciated the fact that I had kind of changed my attitude, and then I guess I said was elected captain of the team, and things ended up going on an upward trend from there. So learning from that loss probably was one of the most important things that I got out of competitive sports.
Do you feel like that helped you also in your professional career, Pete?
I think it did I know it did in terms of how I viewed the kinds of players that we were trying to bring into our franchise.
Sure.
And players who were team oriented, were not me first kind of players. They were more, team first. And so we had the Grant Longs and the Tyrone Corbins and the Steve Smiths, the Kembe Mutombos. These guys all cared about the team. Nothing was more important than the team. And so as a result, when we built our team with those kinds of guys, we had a good run of success.
Right.
And so it helped us putting the team together with that characteristic in mind.
Would you put a Bill Hanslick and T.R. Dunn in that category?
Oh, absolutely. Now, that was with Denver, so two different teams, but in Denver, the same kind of thing. Even Alex English, who was our leading scorer and one of the leading scorers in NBA history, and Dan Issel, those guys put team first. Even though they scored a lot, they weren't one-on-one players. They didn't isolate the ball. They just within the framework of the movement of the offense. They got the shots, and we had a whole team built of those kind of guys in Denver. So for 6 years in Denver, we overachieved. And then in Atlanta, we rebuilt the team with the guys I mentioned. We had a good run of 6-7 years of 50 plus games. So for me, that's what worked, and short of having a Michael Jordan or
of course
somebody like that in your team. So
I think of the 94 team. People always bring up how the number 1 Sonics, of course, lost to the number 8 Nuggets, but the Atlanta Hawks faced a tough Miami Heat team. They were the number 1 seed. They came back, defeated them in 5. I think Atlanta was down 2-1 and then won the next 2 games to win in 5. And then they go to the second round, face an Indiana team. You guys get revenge in Indiana in 96 in round number 1. I think in 94, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Willis gets injured in the second round against Indiana. Reggie gets injured in 96 in round number 1 with the eye issue that he had. I remember that. But then 97, that team was absolutely phenomenal to watch. That Atlanta Hawk team, I remember for some reason there were back-to-back games in round 2 against Chicago. It was like a Saturday-Sunday kind of a thing, if I'm not mistaken. And I recall vividly how the Hawks went into Chicago and won game 2.
Right.
They won that.
Yeah, we competed as well as you can compete against them, but that's the series where I told you the story. I went in the afternoon game day. I went to a health club across the street from the hotel to work out, and Michael was over there lifting weights and lifting hard with his personal trainer Tim Grover.
Yeah.
I went over to Michael and I was teasing him, saying like, far be it for me to tell you not to weigh yourself out, but we're playing in like 5 hours or 6 hours.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he was like really serious. He goes, Pete, it's my day to lift. If it's my day to lift, I don't miss. If this was the 7th game of the finals and I'm supposed to lift today, I do my lifting. And he went out and scored his 30 or whatever he normally did. And that was Michael.
Yeah, the great news is that there were a lot of other teams that suffered the wrath of Michael Jordan in that decade. The Knicks, the Pacers, the entire Eastern Conference, of course, out west as well, different opponents. You know what I always thought that was cool about Michael Jordan? People don't bring this up. So in his entire championship run from 91 all the way to 98, he and the Bulls only had 2 series that went the distance to 7. 2. And if you do the quick math, and I love math, right? So you got to win 4 series to win a championship. They win 491, 492, 493, then the same for 96 through 98, right? So if you do the math, that's 24 series. Only 2 out of 24 teams took them to 7 games. The 92 Knicks and the 98 Pacers. That's it.
You know what? I wasn't even aware of that, but it doesn't surprise me at all. Michael was extraordinary. He refused to let his team lose.
Yeah.
When he went to play baseball, when he came back, I teased him about it. I said, I thought you had a really good career in baseball. I thought you could have stayed 2 or 3 more years at least, because life was much easier for us when you were playing baseball.
I can imagine. I want to ask the same question to Mr. Fink right now, then Mr. Abbott, as we close out the night with our final topic. This is a topic for our new viewers. Matt Fink, if you could name one time in your life where a loss ended up becoming more valuable than a win, please do so, my friend. The floor belongs to you.
Well, I can only think of one major time where that happened, and it was kind of later in life. Back in 2016, I was asked to come on board to a corporate company here in Minneapolis and take a position there by somebody I knew who was a musician that I had produced his music back in 2004 and 2005, and he had a small record label. And we remained friends after I worked with him there, but he was running his company already at that time, which was very internet based, and he was teaching marketing online and all this stuff and how to grow your business. Well, fast forward to 2016, he said, hey, would you like to come work for me and help me vet a music streaming service that's for sale? And I said, yeah, I've never done anything like this before, but sure, I'd like to take a shot at that. So I went to work for him, and we did besides doing that, he decided to restart his record label in 2018, and we signed a lot of 6 different artists, And then we got the music streaming service purchased. Oh, well, actually, that's not how it worked. The streaming service that he wanted me to vet for him was not a good buy. And I said, you should avoid that and build a new streaming service from the ground up, which he agreed was the right way to do it. So they did it that way. They hired the software engineers, and I assisted in the platform and how it should look, the interface and all that stuff. I'm not a programmer by any means. And we had a team of people working on this project. And then fast forward to 2022, we get through the pandemic. The record label is officially up and running really in earnest by the end of 2019. The pandemic hits, and it sidelines all the artists from touring to promote themselves properly. 4 out of the 6 artists were fledgling artists. They weren't very well known yet. The other 2 had okay followings, but they still needed to get out there and promote themselves to boost sales and all that stuff. So unfortunately, this company died. This part of the company died on the vine. He had 8 divisions in this company doing a whole bunch of different things. This music business side was just one of the aspects of what that company did. And so I get a phone call about, a month before, like it's somewhere, I can't remember, it might have been February of 22. And he asked me if I would like to take the record company over and run it for him, because the other guy they had hired to be the main dude, who was an experienced music business guy out of New York and had worked for bigger labels at one time, he wanted to let him go because he wasn't producing. COVID was really tough. And then he wanted me to try and take a stab at it in the middle of all this stuff. And I turned it down and said, no, I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to fly, even with me trying to do this. And then fast forward another month, and he said, things are just bleeding and I'm going to have to lay you off. And I kind of regretted not saying yes to that, but I think eventually he still would have had to let me go. And so I was officially laid off. And I'd never, ever in my life up to that, I'd been independent up to that point, of working for him in 2016 till March of 22. And I had to step down and take unemployment from the state of Minnesota. All that, had to go through all that. I mean, I had some money saved up, but I still was doing that. And it was very disappointing. And it challenged me to, get back into being an independent music producer and session player and getting in with a band and playing live again and doing all, and it challenged me. And I had to go online and start utilizing all the social media tools and the LinkedIn platform and learning the ropes of all that and other websites where you promote yourself as an independent producer. So it was quite a learning experience. And then fast forward to about a year or so ago, a year and a half, and now I've been hired on to work with a new tech company, kind of similar to what we were doing before. That I explained that I had these new platforms being developed, and I'm involved with that. So it's exciting. But in between 2022 and now, I had to relearn and reinvent myself as an independent contractor.
Like fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown, all of that.
Yeah.
So.
Sure. Hell of a story.
It was a learning experience.
And it's so relatable. So relatable. I mean, how many people in our comment section as well could probably tell us that they were in a situation that, again, what spells gloom and doom today may lead to something a lot brighter tomorrow if we somehow believe that, have faith.
Right. But that experience also brought me into what I'm doing now, and those people knew of that experience, and that learning experience has helped a lot.
That says a lot about you, and you haven't brought this up a ton because, again, you're humble, but I know mentorship and just helping a lot of young artists with your sage advice, it's amazing. And, you brought up it under your own roof at some point, your son. I mean, just to know... Right? We think about that. And because you brought him up earlier, he's talented as well. But to know that you can still learn so many years after you've succeeded in an industry that is ever evolving, that could scare a lot of people who were successful in the decade of the 80s like you were in the 90s. And then all of a sudden to still have the passion to learn this industry as it's being presented now in real time. Matt, that says a lot about you.
Yeah, thanks. Anyway, I had another thing I wanted to mention. Now it kind of left me there for a second, but
Sure.
I just yeah, it's been real interesting. Oh, I know what I want to say. Back in 2013, I started working for a nonprofit based out on the West Coast,
Right.
called Future Youth Records, which is founded by a gentleman by the name of Jason Wall. That's still going strong, and it was meant strictly to work with young disadvantaged youth. And I was a mentor. I became a mentor for
Oh,
and working
wow.
with kids in the studio and teaching them how to write music. And I did a lot of that. And now my son Max is working for them as well. I brought him in 2019, and they're utilizing him all the time now. And he's gotten to work with some great musicians that have established careers out on the West
great.
Coast, and very exciting. And I still do occasional work for them, but there's another nonprofit doing the same thing here in Minneapolis called Unlocked Mission. And that's been going pretty well since about 2018 now, 2019, when it got underway. And I've done the same kind of mentorship programs with youth kids, and
I'm not surprised.
yeah, that's been very rewarding for me to
I love
help
that.
young kids.
When I heard your story, it made me think of what I tell people that I guess are coming up, or as the young kids say, on the come up. Start building something you own. You could build something you already own. An idea is something
Yeah.
you own.
Yeah,
A concept
exactly.
is you own. And
Exactly.
you develop it. You develop it. You develop it. And the great thing is that it's yours. It belongs to you, right here in the old noggin between the ears. Nobody can take that from you. Nobody can.
That's right. Yes. One really cool aspect of the Unlocked Mission project is
Yeah.
they have a 70-foot houseboat on the Mississippi River with a full-blown recording studio performance space on the main level. And we've done many events there and shows with professionals and teaching programs. And we've also done a few concerts off of the rooftop, ship to shore.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Really cool thing. And so there's only two things like it in the world. The only other recording studio floating houseboat
right.
is on the Thames River in London, and is owned by Pink Floyd's people.
And there's only one thing wrong about what you just said. You never sent me an invite for that.
Well, I will next time. If you want to fly in, I'll let you know.
Yes.
You can go to the website unlockedmission.org. You can see all of that, and you can go to the Future Youth Records FYR, futureyouthrecords.com or .org also on the. And you can
Are we all
see,
invited, Mr. Abbott, Babcock, and myself? We're all invited, right?
Sure. And Future Youth Records is now developing a professional record label with artists, so it's not all nonprofit now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're actually, and my son is producing one of their premier artists as we speak.
I'm psyched. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Love what
very
you're
exciting.
Doing. Mr. David Tank Abbott, we'll close out this evening, of course, with this final topic. And good sir, can you name one time in your life, Mr. Abbott, where a loss ended up becoming more valuable than a win? At any point in your life, personally, professionally, at any point, my friend, the floor belongs to you, good sir.
Well, let's see here. There's probably quite a few, but there's one big one that squelches all the rest of them out and cannot hear anything but this one. The better way to set it up is I had the world by the tail. You know, I was wrestling for WCW, living the crazy rock star lifestyle that you can't imagine. I mean, everything you could think of, I pushed it to the limit, and it was all there for me to have. So that went on, and they went out of business, and my contract ran out. So I continued living like a rock star, partying like no tomorrow, and ended up burning down the house. Man, you can probably think you can imagine it and know people that have done it, but I pushed the limits and ended up losing my life.
sorry, man. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That changed my whole outlook. I thought I was never going to die. Everything was going to be good. But I ended up dying 5 times on the operating table. And I fought to come back. And I did. I made it. Luckily, most people don't. And from that loss of my life, turned out, you would think how awful and how bad it was, but it totally changed my life. Was not, I want to say, a narcissistic way of life, but definitely down that road. Narcissism wasn't too far around the corner. And I didn't have an agenda anymore. I was done with it. I was done with that life that killed me. And everything that was important back in those times, all the way from money to people knowing who you are, to everything, didn't make a hill of beans difference anymore. Didn't have anything that I wanted to do with it. I mean, I used to be 50 pounds bigger with a goatee and a shaved head. And I got rid of all that. Everything that was another life ago. And it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. Through dying, it opened my eyes, and I had a dark night of the soul kind of enlightenment about things that were what's really important and what life is about. It's not about acquiring things and people knowing who you are and, just the foolish things you get wrapped up into. It was about living and being a good person. Not that I was a bad person to begin with, but just to be a better person in life and not really care about material things or things that really don't matter. And that came from everything that I went through. And, it wasn't an easy trip. It was a lot of pain and a lot of fogginess from all the strokes. I mean, I laid in bed and didn't speak for a long time, and they were talking to my wife, talking about pulling the plug on me. And I must have heard them, because the next couple of days I woke up and said, no. And I have changed. I'm completely a totally different person from that, before that moment, and then rebuilding a physical life as well as a spiritual life, as well as a mental life. And the things that are important to me all happened because of that loss of life, and what's really important in life, and the things that you get wrapped up with and seductively get lost in don't mean anything. And thank God that I was able to pull through from everything. And it's been almost 8 years, but wow. And then every day I wake up and say, man, it's great. I mean, I moved from Southern California out here to the middle of the desert. No neighbors, no nothing. I live down a dirt road, 1.5 miles down a dirt road. Hang out with my dogs. I go to the gym. I work out. And I write. And I'm so much more grounded and a better person now than I was exponentially through the roof beforehand. Like I said, I wasn't a bad guy, but I like to go out and have a lot of fun. And I did a lot of fun things. But everybody used to tell me, you're going to die. You can't live that way. And being a pig-headed as I was, oh, no, I'm not going to die. Not me. And it happened, and it changed my life, and it was the best thing that ever happened. ironically, I don't know if ironically is the right word, but definitely changed my life, changed who I am. And it totally enlightened me and got me back focused and grounded on what things are important in life and being a good person. And that's where I am. And all that from in a roundabout way of having too much fun, which in reality wasn't that much fun after all. That's what it was. Cedar cyanide in the operating room.
I know the story, but I don't know the story. I know the story because you told me. You were kind enough to tell me the story when we spoke again initially years ago. If I could be so bold, okay, I don't have. Let's talk about what I'm not here, okay? I am not half the human being that you three are when it comes to your life experience, when it comes to what you've been through and raising families. So I tip my hat to all of you. I tip my hat to all of you for being friends, for being family here. I want to say this to you, David. You were talking about, barroom brawler, shaved head, leather jacket, being, twice as big physically. You just mentioned that. And again, if I may be so bold to say the following, I think you stand taller now.
I happen to agree with you.
I think you stand taller now.
And it would have never happened if I wouldn't have lost my life.
Yeah, I see a giant. I mean that. I would, me, I would say this camera, who cares? Program.
Words.
Yeah. Whether we're recording or not, I'd say you're a giant, man. You're a giant of a man. And I appreciate you just sharing that story with us because a near-death experience, I mean, just hearing your story makes me want to be better myself. And not do some of the crap that I do that I know might not be. I try to lead a very good life, but hearing that makes me want to be better for everyone around me.
So, hey, Avi.
Yeah.
I want to withdraw from this round and give my vote to David. I mean, his story is just remarkable. Mine was nothing like that whatsoever. It was a challenge, but it wasn't anything like David's. That was a remarkable experience that you had, and so I want to withdraw from this round.
And guys, I want people to know this. Sport of the Mind tournament, celebrity tournament means a lot to all of us. Sure, Suits and Ties watching. Pete Babcock never lost the topic. Quite the competitor. For you to say what you just said is heartfelt. It's genuine. It's deep. It's authentic. If we can, because I see you guys.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it very much.
If Pete's okay with this, because I know, I believe I've known you really well and the heart that you have, Pete. I see the gentlemen in the back who are doing this as well. I'd like to give all three gentlemen right now. We don't do this every week, so please don't think we do. Can we just give them a round of applause? Can we give all three of these gentlemen a round of applause right now? Pete, Kelly, Jay White, let me bring you guys in here. Round of applause. Round of applause to you guys. Howard, let me bring you in as well. Huge round of applause. Giselle, what you guys did tonight is everything I stand for. I know it sounds sappy. I'd rather be sappy than cynical. Everything you guys did tonight is why I do this show. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, sorry guys, I had to leave for a second. I apologize.
Hey, dude, if you wait, the camera stuff, right? Here, look, we look alike. See?
Okay. Sorry. I'm back.
Guys, if it's okay with Kelly and Pete, I don't want you guys to vote. We've never done that. I don't want to vote. You guys told stories in this second topic right now that resonated with us, and I think our viewers can agree that we'll see you in round 3, and you can't skip a vote then. Of course, that's coming up. But for tonight, I echo Pete's sentiment. I echo Pete Babcock's sentiments.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Mr. Fink, the three of you, all of you, thank you for sharing so much with us. Anything you gentlemen would like, I'm going to go off screen with Giselle, Howard, Kelly, and Pete. Anything you three would like to tell each other at all?
Yeah, I have something for Matt. Matt, I thought about this during the show. my oldest daughter used to get to go to all the All-Star games every year, the NBA All-Star games. And in 1994, we were in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And her favorite experience of all the All-Star games that she went to is that she got to go with Lenny Wilkens' son and a couple other people to Prince's home studio, like at 2 a.m.
Oh, they go out to Paisley Park?
Yeah. And so she's staying with me in my room. She doesn't get back till like 6 a.m. or something like that. She said it was the most fun of any All-Star game she'd ever been to in her life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she loved it.
Prince was one of a kind, nothing like him out there. Hardest working man in show business besides James Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah,
I was I was very fortunate to know him.
Yeah,
extremely fortunate.
If the three of you want each other's like contacts, let me know after the show. I'd be happy to pass along each other's contact information.
Absolutely, send it all over.
Love to do that. Kelly and Pete, anything you'd like to tell David Tank Abbott, Pete Babcock, and Dr. Matt Fink before they depart for the evening?
Yeah. Go ahead, Pete.
You sure?
Yeah.
The person wearing the black shirt. Oh, it's both of you. Go ahead, Pete.
I just want to thank you, gentlemen, for tonight. I learned a lot, and I wasn't expecting to get emotional tonight. And I couldn't. There was no way I could have, voted on that round just like everybody else. And I appreciate what you all taught us tonight. Mr. Abbott, I appreciate you're still here with us. Thank you for everything. And I really enjoyed tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. I voting on that would have just, I don't know, it just wouldn't have felt right. So, I mean, what Pete and Matt, you guys did right there. I'm a big fan of the Lord of the Rings movie, and at the end of the last one, when all the hobbits are walking up to pay their respects to Aragorn, and he steps off the throne and he says, "You bow to no one, my friends." I feel like you guys did that for David with what he brought to the table. And I love both your guys' stories too. I mean, Pete, I could see yours being a movie. I mean, I just really could. It just flows so natural. I could see you working through the summer and everything. But David Tank, man, yeah, your story it's beyond inspirational, man. It just really is. And, I need to get your books and see what you say, because it's a valuable story for all those people out there that, they don't have to die to change their life because you did it for them. I always tell my kids, I said, a smart person learns from their mistakes, but a genius learns from somebody else's. And I don't think you really have to be a genius to do that. But if you're putting that out there in the world, man, you're turning a lot of people around. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I echo those sentiments. They say it's important to plant something beautiful where the fire once was, and you're doing that every day. You're planting something beautiful, and you're sharing it with us. And that, again, that's the essence of what TKN does. Before we depart, I do want to make an announcement. We have a lot of programming here under this great umbrella. Pete and myself at some point will be back with Intertwining Thoughts, probably after round number 2. We still have some matches for round number 2. These gentlemen are all third rounders, so this was not a third round match. Dr. Fink as well is going to be announcing something soon with Kelly. I'll bring it up. And David Tank Abbott and myself, talking about your screenplay is something we're going to continue doing, my friend, because I'm here for you, man, in every which way I can be. And thank you for being there for me, too, during the loss of my father, David, and always checking up on me the way that you have. It means a lot to me. Pete, I want to bring this up. You as well, always looking out for me. Rest in peace to Lenny. You guys wouldn't have Lenny Wilkens under this umbrella without Pete Babcock, okay? Let me just say that here. Thanks to Pete Babcock, Lenny Wilkens shared his life and story with us. And we lost him recently. And Pete, I want to thank you for introducing us to TKN. Lenny Wilkens to TKN. Thank you. Means a lot.
Yeah, pleasure.
Dr. Fink, I'm going to announce this now, actually. I'll let Kelly announce it. Kelly, a lot of programs under our umbrella. Kelly is Mr. Dungeons & Dragons, Mr. DM. Kelly, we're going to have something this Thursday night that you're going to be hosting, the DM Challenge. There'll be one particular person playing. Who will that be, Mr. Kelly White?
That person playing, our player, is this guy right here, Dr. Matt Fink. He is going to be the official Dungeon Masters Challenge player. And you folks out there are going to decide between me and the 7-minute GM, a professional Dungeon Master, who's got the chops to tell the story and do all that stuff. And Matt's just got to sit back, play whatever character he comes up with, and have a lot of fun. All the pressure is going to be on us. But I talked to this guy. He's going to be good. He is going to be good.
I hope so. I hope so.
No, and it's gonna, back to what David Abbott always says, it's going to be fun. That's what it's all about, having a great time. Mr. Abbott, Pete, and Dr. Fink, did you guys have a nice time tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
really cool. Very enlightening. Thank you.
You guys,
Bobby, you pass along to Giselle that I don't like doing this stuff without my teammate.
Here.
There you are. There you are. I always have you to lean on.
No, I appreciate that, Mr. Babcock. You're wonderful and incredible, and I can't do this without you at all. I'm very happy we're a team. I love every time we're on screen together in this, but you are an amazing person.
Oh, thanks.
You are one of the best, and we all saw it this very evening. I couldn't ask for a better partner.
Well, that's nice of you. Thank you. But I lean on you every time we compete. But go ahead. Get on to something else. Get on to something else.
By the way, Pete, you might find this interesting in the team challenge, because these gentlemen, there's so much going on TKN. You're right in the comment section. These three gentlemen are part of the big tournament, round 3 coming up, but they're also part of the team challenge. That's what you've seen here. Pete Babcock teaming up with Giselle. David Tank Abbott's partners backstage. Justin, if you want to say anything to Mr. Abbott, feel free.
There he is.
My brother, I knew you could do it. I had you all the way. You are amazing. Amazing. And man, I may look like a tough guy. You broke my heart. Your story just went right through me, my brother. It was, wow. So touching. But you did it. I knew you could.
Guys,
all right, brother.
Guys and gals and pals, you never know. This might be an actual match in round number 3. Dr. Fink, Pete Babcock, and David Tank Abbott. But, and there won't be any. Giselle can't bail anybody out. Neither can you, Justin. Hey, guys. Again, much love from yours truly, Avi Klein, to you, Mr. Fink, Mr. Babcock, and Tank Abbott. I appreciate you gentlemen so very much. Please stay safe. Best wishes to your families as well. Hope they're safe during this incredibly rough weekend of weather we're having. Thank you for joining us, and have a beautiful night. Mr. Fink.
Not to mention the stuff going on here in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
There's
Good
some.
luck to all you guys.
Yeah. Keep your head down.
Keep your head down. Like, what the hell? Hey.
Yeah.
Twilight.
You know?
Twilight. Rod Serling couldn't have written this. So I agree with you.
Yeah, you can't write this stuff.
No, not at all. Not at all. You gentlemen have a beautiful night. I'll keep in touch with you very soon. Thank you for joining us tonight on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Thank you. See you all. Thank you.
Great to meet you guys
Great
again.
night, guys.
Have a great
Likewise.
night. Thank
Have a
you.
good night. You two guys, thank you so much. Mr. Fink, Mr. Tank Abbott, Mr. Babcock.
Good dudes.
Gentlemen, they epitomized that word. They really are gentlemen.
Really
Absolutely.
Kelly and Pete, I'm assuming that how can you vote for something like that? You can't, because it's not just that David Tank Abbott shared that with us. It's the fact that he does it in a way that's in depth.
Mm-hmm.
It made me think about my life. It really did. I'm sitting back there, I'm forgetting, hey, TKN, Team Challenge, and voting. I forgot about that because he was so kind to talk about himself and his journey through life and the ups and downs. And I see the ups when it comes to Mr. Abbott. I see the ups. Communicate with him 3 years ago, and since then, touching base as much as we can. I want to be able to meet him and shake his hand, and that to me is the ultimate sign. My dad told me that, before he passed, ultimate sign of respect. You meet someone that touches your life, you better shake their hand, and I want to shake his hand one day. And I think we can all agree on that, right?
Oh yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the thing that gets me with David, I've been around a lot of people, been through a lot of stuff, and the common human denominator is to let it beat you down and lean on it. This happened to me. Feel bad for me. Feel bad for me. And David is the exact opposite.
Sure.
He's like, I screwed up. I put myself here. It damn near killed me. And I'm better off for that now. And it's hard to find somebody that can take that outlook on such a time in their life and come out the other side like he has. It really is an inspiration. I think the word needs to get out on that more than it is.
Well said. Well said. I relish the charm of the present, and what we did today was a gift, man. It was a real eye opener for me because, of course, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, guys. Pete Babcock and David Abbott and Matt Fink. Of course, we're going to learn a ton, and of course, we know that they lead with respect. They lead with respect, sure. But I was blown away. It was one of those moments where even doing this for years in front of a camera, even though right now my camera's off.
You're still looking at it.
It's one of those special nights where I forget about the time. I forget about anything around me. The water bottle, you know what I mean? The camera, the box of tissues. I forget about everything around me because I'm so laser focused at what's happening when these three gentlemen are sharing their stories, man. It's awesome. It really is awesome.
It is.
That being said, I think we know what time it is right now, guys and gals and pals.
Well, what time is it?
We know what time it is. I'll tell you right now, guys, at the 2.5 hour mark, next Saturday night, final lap of round 2 of the celebrity tournament. Who will appear next week? Whoever appears gets a chance to move on and be where David Tank Abbott is in this tournament, and also Pete Babcock and Dr. Fink in round 3. Winner, of course, will win what? 20 grand, which is increased, and a 5-day, 5-night trip to Greece. Guys and gals and pals, I'm going to bring him because he's in the back. I'm going to bring Joe Rositano here as well. I think we know exactly what time it is. So why don't you tell us, if you can, as loud as you can, as proud as you can, as much as you can, what time is it? And we can't hear him. all of us, at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. What time is it?
It's Oscar time, baby.
Obsession with talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about?
So to me, that's the most educational film because especially the history about the Italian American heritage, especially with the culture of goes back with Italy, the old England, especially coming to America.
Most people don't understand wedding vows. When you get married, wedding vows is like you take care of each other through sickness, hard time, financial time. That's the most powerful thing of the commitment. So, you see each other at its worst.
I think number one, empathy. We never know what someone else is going through. We never know. We are all definitely stronger than we think. I mean, you look around, you look at people that are going through cancer or something challenging or loss of a job, and you think, how are they doing it? How can they do this? But we're all stronger than we think we are. It means something to me because I felt people behind me, people rooting for me from locally, and my own team getting me there and helping me through a tough situation. It helped me to do it.
have to learn to love ourselves first before we can effectively love any other human on this planet. And that's where it starts. And now, as a society, as a globe, we are going to start to really flourish, take care of each other, and be in a lot better place than we are at right now.
And we've come a long way in mixed martial arts. The Ultimate Fighting Championship has done a great job in educating people about what we do as martial artists and athletes. Thank you guys very much for allowing me to be part of this.
But let's hear it for Randy.
When Allie died, Phil Donahue said to me, Sally, you've gone through the worst thing a parent can go through, losing a child. So take a month off. Don't work, just take time off.
No, you know, the letters really touch my heart. Every day we receive a ton of mail from viewers just like you. The ones that seem to touch our hearts are the ones from viewers who need our help. Well, today we decided to give it a try. We're going to try something new. We wanted to reach out to some of our viewers who are in pain.
My dad got up every morning in Minnesota and walked 2 miles to work every day and 2 miles home.
Actually, there was an ad in the paper, Pro Wrestling School, 7th Street Gym. And I went down there and met a gentleman named Eddie Sharkey. And when he thought I was ready, I sent pictures throughout the different promoters he knew. And I got a call from Bob Geigel in Kansas City. And initially in Kansas City, I was surfer Jesse Ventura.
Hello, guys. Final lap time. Final lap. Upon us. All up and down, guys. Who we got next Saturday night? We ready? We have a mystery participant next Saturday night. One, a mystery participant, AMA nominated him. There it is again. Another question mark. Another mystery participant next Saturday. Who will they be, guys and gals? And last but not least, we know. you don't know, and here's Bob. Former heavyweight champion of the world, Boxing Hall of Famer Riddick Bowe, along with 2 mystery participants. Next Saturday night, guys and gals, Riddick Bowe in the house for his second round match against 2 mystery participants. Are we chomping at the bit or what, guys? Huh? Go it. Phil Justice. Pete. Giselle. Miranda. Joe Risitano. To remind you guys and gals and pals, Wednesday night Black Box, 8 p.m. this Thursday evening, Kelly J. White, Dr. Fink for the inaugural edition of the DM Challenge. And remember, once this program tonight goes dark, you will see it again Sunday night, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube channel. So if you're refreshing and you don't see this program that you just watched, do not fret, because you will get an opportunity to see this again and tell your friends 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. Kelly J. White, pretty soon, in a few days, we're going to be rolling some dice.
We definitely are, and I am looking forward to it. I think I might be a professional, but I think I got this.
You definitely do, my friend. Have a great night, everyone, from us to you.